Chapter 807. Mu Lianfeng glanced at her and said nonchalantly, "It's fine." Zhao Yun rolled her eyes and stared at Mu Lianfeng. "How can it be fine? Don't you know that the blood is very fishy and difficult to wash off?" "Yun, I don't want these clothes anymore. I'll change into a new one." Zhao Yun's mouth twitched and she felt her heart ache. This guy, he was too extravagant. He was simply a prodigal son. His clothes were made of such luxurious material. Zhao Yun estimated that it would cost at least a few dozen taels of silver. Even if it didn't cost that much, it would cost at least a few dozen taels of silver. He actually didn't care about such an expensive item. Of course, someone of Mu Lianfeng's status wouldn't care. After all, he was rich and the heir presumptive's residence didn't have many good things. A few dozen taels of silver was probably nothing to him. Mu Lianfeng didn't care about it, but to Zhao Yun, it was a huge sum. Zhao Yun looked at Mu Lianfeng bitterly. Mu Lianfeng's heart tightened and he said, "Mu Lianfeng, if you continue like this, I'm afraid I won't be able to support you." Mu Lianfeng's hands paused and he said to Zhao Yun, "Yun, it's fine. I'll support you. What if you leave the heir presumptive's residence? I won't be able to support you like this." Mu Lianfeng's eyes turned and he pondered for a moment. Finally, he said, "If that's the case, Yun, I can go out and find work. With my talent and ability, even if I leave the heir presumptive's residence, I'm sure I can get a good job. Don't worry, I can support you in Daodu. I won't be a burden to you." Zhao Yun chuckled. Although Mu Lianfeng was a little narcissistic, he had the capital to be narcissistic. Mu Lianfeng had extraordinary abilities and was brimming with talent. In this era, cultured people had their own things to do. He really left the crown prince's residence. He could easily pass the imperial examinations and pass the imperial examinations. "You'd better get up. I'll help you rub the blood off your body. I should be able to get it off after washing it off." Zhao Yun greeted. "Yun, let me do it. I don't want to dirty your clothes," Mu Lianfeng insisted. Zhao Yun muttered in her heart. How could the tattered clothes on her be more expensive than Mu Lianfeng's clothes? "You can come, but you have to cover yourself with something to prevent your clothes from getting dirty again." Mu Lianfeng didn't refuse. He nodded and said, "Okay." Zhao Yun went into the room and put on the apron she made on Mu Lianfeng. After Mu Lianfeng put on the apron, Zhao Yun couldn't help but stare at Mu Lianfeng's body. It looked a little small and was tied to Mu Lianfeng's body. It looked very funny. Mu Lianfeng looked at Zhao Yun in confusion and said, "Yun, what's wrong? Can I wear it?" How could Zhao Yun say no? If she said yes, this guy would definitely take off the apron. When that happened, the blood of the loach would splash on his clothes and the clothes would probably be ruined. Zhao Yun was distressed about the money, so she could only nod. "It's just a little tight. I'm afraid you'll feel uncomfortable wearing it." Mu Lianfeng smiled and said, "It's okay. It's not uncomfortable." "That's good. Then hurry up and get rid of the loach. I'll go and cook." Chapter 808. Zhao glanced at Mu Lianfeng with mixed feelings. This guy had really found his conscience and treated his subordinates a little better. Actually, Zhao felt that Mo Yen could come over to eat every day since he was working so diligently for Mu Lianfeng. She was cooking anyway, so she did not mind cooking a little more. The conditions on the mountain were far too poor. What could they eat if everyone ate together? Mo Yen was also a tall man, so he naturally had a better appetite. Mo Yen had not eaten well in the past few days because he lived on the mountain. His nutrition could not keep up, so he had lost quite a lot of weight. Mu Lianfeng did not care about this. He had only invited Mo Yen over this time because he was poisoned. Mo Yen had accompanied Zhao Yun to get the antidote for him. Otherwise, he definitely would have died already. This meal was a reward for Mo Yen. After all, Mu Lianfeng could not think of anything else to reward Mo Yen with. Gold, silver, and jewels were far too tacky. What Mo Yen needed the most right now was a few good meals. If Mo Yen knew what Mu Lianfeng was thinking, he would definitely feel that his master did not understand him at all. Actually, he did not find gold, silver, and jewels to be tacky at all. Instead, he needed these things very much. After all, he was poor and had not gotten married yet. Once he got married, he would have to spend a large sum of money. Originally, he wanted to show off in front of his master and wait for him to raise his salary, but in the end, Yun, what's wrong? Mu Lianfeng saw Zhao Yun become stunned and thought that Zhao Yun was unhappy. Zhao Yun shook her head. All right, I got it. Don't worry, I'll definitely make a few more dishes. All right. Mu Lianfeng nodded. Before long, Mo Yen saw that it was almost time for dinner, so he came over early. This was because he knew that if he came late, Mu Lianfeng would definitely not call him over, nor would he wait for him to eat with him. By then, he would probably only be eating leftovers. Mu Lianfeng suddenly asked him to eat. Mo Yen was a little nervous. He knew Mu Lianfeng too well. Mu Lianfeng would never ask him to eat so easily. He didn't know if she had an ulterior motive or if she really felt sorry for him. Mo Yen did not have the time to think too much about it. She really was hungry. Since Mu Lianfeng had called her over, Mo Yen happily agreed. At this time, they came over and eagerly looked forward to the meal. He knew about Zhao Yun's culinary skills. The taste was indescribable. It was even more delicious than the food in the restaurant. Mo Yen could not help but gulp down a few mouthfuls of saliva when she thought about the taste of the food. Only when he arrived before Zhao Yun's home did he discover that Mo Yen was wearing something and was currently killing loaches on the ground. Mo Yen's heart tightened when she saw Mu Lianfeng like this. Is Master crazy? He actually made it look like a woman. No matter how he looked at it, it felt strange. He is the noble heir. How can he be like this? However, Mu Lianfeng acted like nothing had happened. He was extremely calm. Mu Lianfeng sensed someone approaching. He raised his head and met Mo Yen's eyes. Mu Lianfeng raised an eyebrow and asked Mo Yen, "Why didn't you tell me you were coming over? What are you planning to do?" Chapter 809. Master, didn't I just get here? Mo Yen said. Huh? Mu Lianfeng snorted softly, which made Mo Yen's hair stand on end. Mo Yen didn't know what Mu Lianfeng meant. Did he not believe what she said? Mo Yen, you lied, Mu Lianfeng said to Mo Yen indifferently as he played with the loach in his hand. Mo Yen felt her heart grow colder. She thought to herself, I'm done for. I'm not lying, right? The problem is that my master won't believe me. If my master interrogated me, I don't even know what to say. Mo Yen didn't say anything and stood to the side nervously. Mu Lianfeng said indifferently, just what was he thinking about? Why was he so lost in thought? Mo Yen, can you tell me? Mo Yen became more and more nervous. She felt like she was about to break out in a cold sweat. She knew that if she didn't give a reasonable explanation and didn't tell Mu Lianfeng the reason, her master would have plenty of ways to torture her. Falling into Mu Lianfeng's hands was definitely a very tragic thing. Mo Yen swallowed a few mouthfuls of saliva and finally said, Master, actually, I wasn't thinking about anything else, but, Mo Yen hesitated for a moment and didn't dare to say it. But what? Master, if I say it, you have to promise me first that you won't skin me alive. Mu Lianfeng raised the corner of his mouth and said, Say it. Mo Yen hesitated for a while and said timidly, Master, whose clothes are you wearing? You look like a woman, Mo Yen grumbled. Thinking about it, her master was the dignified heir of a noble clan. Why did he seem more and more like a sissy now? With that, Mu Lianfeng's face immediately turned cold. He suppressed his emotions and asked, Really? Yes, master. Why don't you take it off? If other people see it, they might laugh at you. Don't ruin your reputation. Hef, Mu Lianfeng's cold voice sounded again. Mo Yan's but clenched in fright. Whenever her master acted like this, it meant that disaster was about to befall someone else. Mo Yen knew that Mu Lianfeng was probably angry. Why was he so tragic? All he did was speak the truth. Did it have to be like this? He had kindly reminded him, but in the end, this was the result. If he had known earlier, he would have just made up a random excuse. After finishing the last loach, Mu Lianfeng looked at Mo Yen coldly. His gaze seemed like he wanted to eat her. Mo Yen felt a cold breath on her neck. She said to Mu Lianfeng nervously, Master, you said that you won't skin me alive. You can't go back on your words. The corner of Mu Lianfeng's mouth curled up slightly as he said to Mo Yen, I will naturally do what I've promised. However, if I don't skin you alive, I have other ways to torture you. After Mu Lianfeng said that, a scheming look flashed through his eyes. Mo Yen was petrified on the spot. How could he do this? So, her master was too hateful. Wasn't he shameless in disguise? Chapter 8:10. Mo Yen looked at Mu Lianfeng nervously. She wanted to know just how Mu Lianfeng was torturing her. After waiting for a while, she realized that Mu Lianfeng was saying leisurely, actually, it won't hurt you at all. You just have to wear my clothes and walk a few more rounds on the mountain. That'll be fine. Mo Yen was deeply hurt when she heard that. Her master was just too heartless. He wasn't lying. Her body wouldn't be harmed at all, but what about her mind? That would be very severe. It would be far more painful than her mind. Mo Yen could already imagine that if she walked around the mountain a few more times while wearing the clothes, the miners would laugh at her. Mo Yan's face became bitter when she thought of that. She looked at Mu Lianfeng with some despair and said, Master? Actually, I'm willing to be skinned alive by you. Your punishment is just too severe. I can't bear it. Master, if you want to punish me, can you do it in another way? I really can't do that. Mo Yen frowned and begged. She hoped that Mu Lianfeng would relent if she said it. Unfortunately, Mu Lianfeng had no intention of relenting at all. Instead, he said coldly to Mo Yen, What? Since when did you start bargaining with me? Mo Yen knew that she had to do this when she saw her master suddenly become stern. All right, master, Guning said. Mo Yen swallowed the words she wanted to say in the end. Sigh, she could only sigh at her bad luck. What else could she do? Zhao Yun heard everything Mu Lianfeng said in the kitchen. She sympathized with Mo Yen very much. It seemed like Mu Lianfeng didn't treat anyone well apart from her and Daodu. Even his own subordinates bullied him so badly. Zhao Yun came out of the kitchen and said to Mu Lianfeng, Is the loach ready? Only then did Mu Lianfeng shift his attention. He said to Zhao Yun, It's done. Just wash it with water. But Zhao Yun said. She went into the kitchen and brought out a lot of water to wash the loach. Wash your hands with the honey locust to avoid the fishy smell. Okay. Mu Lianfeng answered obediently. Mo Yen stood to the side and watched. She couldn't help but sigh inside. His master was like a good daughter-in-law in front of Zhao Yun. How could she treat him like this? What was wrong with him? Zhao Yun sensed Mo Yan's aggrieved gaze, so she said to Mo Yen, we'll have to wait a while for dinner. I'm cooking. Go sit in the room and rest for a while. There's tea inside, so pour some for yourself. It's quite tiring to stand here. You're already working hard enough. After Zhao Yun said that, Mo Yen felt a sliver of warmth in her heart. Her mistress was still the best. She knew how to care for her. She wasn't like her master, who didn't have any humanity. Mistress. Mo Yen nodded and went into Zhao Yun's room. Before Zhao Yun went in to cook, she told Mu Lianfeng to take off his apron. Come to think of it, she was the one who had harmed Mo Yen. Otherwise, Mo Yen wouldn't have been tortured by Mu Lianfeng. Chapter 8:11. Although the food he made wasn't some exotic delicacy, it tasted delicious. The dishes were so fragrant that Mo Yen could not help but drool before she tasted them. Zhao Yun told Mo Yen to eat when she saw how envious Mo Yen was. Before Mo Yen died, she had to have a good meal at the very least so that she could die with a full stomach. After the meal, Zhao Yun took out a toothpick and helped Mo Yen and Mu Lianfeng pick their teeth. They had eaten far too much meat, so it was unavoidable for them to get meat on their teeth. It was impossible to remove it by hand. As for the toothpick, Zhao Yun made it herself. The villagers did not seem to use them. This was because the villagers were extremely poor in the first place. They only had a few meals of meat each year, so they did not use them at all. Even if they got meat on their teeth, they would not remove it. After Mo Yen received it, she said to Zhao Yun, Thank you, madam. Zhao Yun shook her head, You're welcome. Mu Lianfeng took it as well. Just when the two of them were about to pick their teeth, they discovered that Zhao Yun was staring at them. Mu Lianfeng asked curiously. Yun, is there something else you want from us? Zhao Yun shook her head. It's actually nothing. I just want to see if you two pretty men look good when you pick your teeth. Mo Yen and Mu Lianfeng became speechless when they heard what Zhao Yun had said. Mo Yen was nervous because Zhao Yun had directly praised her as a pretty man in front of Mu Lianfeng. How could that be? With her master's jealous personality, Mu Lianfeng would probably be extremely displeased when Zhao Yun praised him. Fortunately, Mo Yen was overthinking things this time. Mu Lianfeng had not thought of that. Yun, what's there to look at? Of course. Forget it, I'll go rinse my mouth. Mu Lianfeng suddenly felt uncomfortable and said to Zhao Yun. Mo Yen added in a hurry, I'll rinse my mouth as well. Hey, why you guys like this? Zhao Yun suddenly felt a little disappointed. Madam, your way of thinking is a little special. Normal people can't satisfy you. Zhao Yun rolled her eyes and looked at the master and servant. Could it be that her actions had frightened them? Since that was the case, then forget it. Actually, she didn't have that many special hobbies. She was just curious. Then you guys chat, I'll go wash the dishes. Zhao Yun said. After eating her fill, Mo Yen began to report to Mu Lian. Master, a lot of iron has been smelted. Can we rush out the first batch of weapons? His Majesty is already urging us. The war could start at any time. We have to hurry. Mu Lianfeng nodded. I'll leave the matter of the weapons to you. The weapons have to be of good quality. Keep a close eye on them and don't let anything go wrong. When it came to serious matters, the master and servant were much more normal. In particular, Mu Lianfeng did not make things difficult for Mo Yen. Oh right, master, I've done what you asked me to do last time. The reason why the Red Jade Mountain Villa attacked you was because of the Prime Minister. Back then, the Prime Minister saved the Villa Lord's life, so the Red Jade Mountain Villa owed him a favor. This time, the Prime Minister asked the Red Jade Mountain Villa to help, so they obviously didn't refuse. Speaking of which, you can't blame the Red Jade Mountain Villa too much. Chapter 8:12. Was he so eager to take his life? Mu Lianfeng did not care about himself. So what if he died? However, Daodu and Zhao Yu, Mu Lianfeng did not want the two of them to come to any harm. Fortunately, he had used the excuse of mining to come here, otherwise, he would have been discovered if he had stayed in Zhao Yun's home for so long. Although Zhao Yun was not in any danger right now, he would be discovered if he continued to stay here. Arrange for a few hidden guards to protect the madam and the young master, Mu Lianfeng ordered. Yes, sir. Mo Yen nodded heavily. She had been prepared to make this suggestion to Mu Lianfeng. Mo Yen still felt lingering fear when she thought about what had happened before. What would she do if it happened again? The two of them chatted for a while before Mo Yen left. They went to bed early in the night. After doing so much work every day, Mu Lianfeng felt extremely exhausted. He would doze off very hard at night. However, Mu Lianfeng was unable to sleep because he was busy. Instead, he lit a lamp and began to write and draw under the lamp. Daodu lay on the table and accompanied Mu Lianfeng for a while. During this period of time, Daodu would learn from Mu Lianfeng whenever he had the time, so he was able to recognize quite a few words. He could even memorize the 1,000-character classic, the 100 surnames, and many poems. Although Daodu was young, he had an extremely good memory. He only needed to recite a few sentences to remember many things. He was rather similar to Mu Lianfeng in this aspect. Mu Lianfeng felt a sliver of warmth when he saw how smart his son was. The best thing he had ever created in his life was probably Daodu. If it were not for what happened in the past, there would not have been such a cute little bun. Daodu seemed to sense that someone was looking at him, so he raised his head and met Mu Lianfeng's gentle eyes. Daodu raised his head and smiled sweetly at Mu Lianfeng. Daddy, what's wrong? Nothing. Daddy wants to see what you've written, Mu Lianfeng smiled. Daodu did not hold back when he heard Mu Lianfeng's words. Instead, he took out his work and showed it to Mu Lianfeng. Daddy, take a look. What do you think of Daodu's writing? Mu Lianfeng took a look. Daodu was only 3 years old. He had not learned how to write. But his writing was extremely neat. From the looks of it, if he were to practice properly, his calligraphy would probably be very good in the future. Daddy, Mu Lianfeng's twos, Daddy, Daddy's to twos, Daddy's twos to a to the twos. Children naturally wanted to be praised by their parents, and Daodu was no exception. Mu Lianfeng was not stingy with his praise. He said to Daodu, "Daodu is great. You're doing very well." Daodu grinned happily. Yes, yes. Daodu will work harder. Good boy, don't worry. You're still young. You don't have to work so hard. Go to sleep first. Mu Lianfeng noticed that Daodu was yawning from time to time, so he advised him. Daodu responded obediently, Okay, Daddy. Then Daddy needs to sleep early. Mu Lianfeng's lips curled into a warm smile. I know. Daddy will sleep when he's done. Then Daodu will go to sleep. Go! Daodu climbed onto the bed and lay down next to Xiaoyun. Not long after, Daodu fell asleep. Chapter 8:13. He would risk his life to protect these two people, and he would never let them get hurt. Mu Lianfeng looked at Daodu and Zhao Yun'er's faces, and for a moment, he was a little dazed. He couldn't help but get up and walk to the two of them. He first touched Daodu's smooth little face, then bent down and gently kissed Zhao Yun'er's face. He originally thought that Zhao Yun'er was asleep and his movements were very light, so Zhao Yun'er shouldn't have noticed. But before he could move away, Zhao Yun'er suddenly opened her eyes, and the two of them looked at each other. Mu Lianfeng suddenly felt nervous and embarrassed. Zhao Yun'er asked, Mu Lianfeng, what are you doing? Mu Lianfeng stuttered, You kissed me when I was sleeping? Zhao Yun'er asked again, and stared at Mu Lianfeng with her beautiful eyes, with a flirtatious smile on the corner of her mouth. Mu Lianfeng didn't know how to explain it. Zhao Yun'er made it sound like he was a hypocrite who took advantage of someone's unpreparedness. Mu Lianfeng was frowning and feeling a little embarrassed when he suddenly felt a soft touch on his lips. His heart couldn't help but tremble. Mu Lianfeng was suddenly stunned. Was he dreaming? After the warmth on his lips stayed for a few seconds, Mu Lianfeng met Zhao Yun'er's smiling eyes. Actually, if you want to kiss me as a man, you should naturally be open. I'm not saying that you're not allowed. You're acting like you're secretly doing something bad. After Zhao Yun'er finished speaking, Mu Lianfeng's cheeks were dyed with an imperceptible blush. Mu Lianfeng felt a ball of fire rising in his heart. Looking at Zhao Yun'er's delicate little face, Mu Lianfeng grabbed Zhao Yun'er's head and tossed and turned on Zhao Yun'er's head. Zhao Yun'er's head went blank for a moment. This guy was really obedient. Was it because her words were too provocative that this guy couldn't control himself and pounced on her like a wolf? Zhao Yun'er couldn't break free and could only passively endure. Fortunately, Daodu was by her side. It was inconvenient on such a small bed, otherwise, Zhao Yun'er felt that Mu Lianfeng might go one step further. After a long while, Mu Lianfeng finally let go of Zhao Yun'er. He pecked Zhao Yun'er's forehead lightly and said to Zhao Yun'er in a gentle tone as if he was coaxing a child, Yun, hurry up and sleep. He knew that Zhao Yun'er did so much work every day and was exhausted. Zhao Yun'er raised her eyebrows and asked, Mu Lianfeng, aren't you going to sleep? I still need to wait a while. You go to sleep first. Although Zhao Yun'er felt a little sorry for Mu Lianfeng, she didn't say much. She knew that he had his own things to do. Zhao Yun'er obediently went to sleep first, hoping that Mu Lianfeng could finish his work early and rest early. The next morning, Zhao Yun'er woke up early. When she went to Yang City, Zhao Ping followed her. Zhao Yun'er frowned unhappily. There was a trace of disgust when she saw Zhao Ping. She said to Zhao Ping in a displeased tone, What are you doing here? I'm going to the shop to help. Zhao Ping raised her chin and said. Zhao Yun'er frowned and stared at Zhao Ping unhappily. I said that you don't have to help at the shop. Of course, if you insist on following me, it's fine. You can walk there yourself. Don't sit on my xiaomao. Also, I won't pay you. Chapter 8:14. Zhao Yun'er snorted. Are you deaf or do you have a problem with your intelligence? Didn't I make it clear enough yesterday? Zhao Yun, you've gone too far. Zhao Ping, I've tolerated you for a long time. You'd better not offend me. Otherwise, I won't lend you the dowry after you get married to my mother, so I won't lend it to you either. You won't be able to get married, and you'll become a joke in the village. Zhao said that to scare Zhao Ping. Zhao Yun didn't want to let such a troublemaker stay at home to disgust her. Hearing that, Zhao Ping immediately became obedient. Indeed, this was what Zhao Ping was most afraid of. It wasn't easy for her to find a suitable man to marry. If he didn't work this time, she wouldn't be able to find a man as handsome as the one in Qinyuan next time. Zhao Ping was disappointed at once. She looked at Zhao Yun with sadness in her eyes. Zhao Yun was too much. How could she treat her like this? Seeing that Zhao Ping stopped complaining, Zhao Yun smiled. It seemed that this method worked well on Zhao Ping. Why didn't she think of using this method to scare Zhao Ping before? At this time, Mulan and Mu Hin walked over. Zhao Yun called them to get in the car, and they drove leisurely to Yang City. When they arrived at Yang City, the stall was set up. Zhao Yun observed Mu Hin for a while. She was very smart and efficient when working. She was much better than Zhao Ping, who was stupid. Mulan also watched Mu Hin work nervously. If Mu Hin didn't do a good job, he wouldn't be able to keep her. However, when he saw that Mu Xian was working very efficiently, he let out a sigh of relief. Liang Jinxiao was curious about Mu Hin, so he kept asking Mulan. Mulan then told Liang Jinxiao about her younger sister. After hearing what Mulan said, Liang Jinxiao sympathized with Mu Hin. This little girl was good in every way, but she was too pitiful. Precisely because of this, Liang Jinxiao felt pity for Mu Hin. She's a good child. It's good that she's helping out at our stall. We just happen to be short of a helper, Liang Jinxiao said. Since Xin is here to help, I'll definitely let her do a good job, Mulan said. Very good. This girl is diligent and clever. She's very good. Thank you for the compliment, Auntie. This child is not bad. I didn't mean to praise her, Liang Jinxiao said with a smile. Mula was also very happy that her younger sister was recognized by others. Liang Jinxiao talked to Mulan for a while. If he hadn't talked to Su Yukai, Liang Jinxiao would think that Zhao Tianan and Mu Hin would be a good couple. The two children were about the same age. Mu Hin was so sensible, obedient, diligent, and beautiful. If he married her, it would be his family's blessing. Mulan was a good person. Naturally, this younger sister wouldn't be too bad. Liang Jinxiao planned to introduce Mu Hin to Zhao Tianan if the talk with the Su family didn't work out. As Mulan said, he wanted to introduce Mu Hin to a good family. Although the third branch of the family wasn't very rich, at least after Mu Hin married into the family, they would treat Mu Hin well and wouldn't let Mu Hin suffer. Chapter 8:15. Based on Zhao Tianan's attitude towards Ma Xiaofeng, Liang Jinxiao knew that if they really got married, Zhao Tianan would definitely treat his wife 100% well. Thinking like this, Liang Jinxiao would have to wait and plan for the specifics later. She had already contacted the people from the Su family and arranged for the two children to meet in the next few days. Under normal circumstances, the man and woman would not meet easily. This time, the situation was special. If she did not let Zhao Tianan see and interact with them, Zhao Tianan would definitely object from the beginning. After finishing the matters at the stall, the few of them quickly returned to the village. Today, because Zhao Wenhua asked people to come over to cut trees, Zhao Yun bought some more vegetables from Yang City to bring back. She bought some pig offal, some meat, and some fish. There was still some marinated tiger meat left at home, so she could take it out to entertain them. There was a lot of tiger meat left, but Zhao Yun did not eat much on normal days. It was better to use such precious things to entertain people. There were vegetables in their vegetable garden, so there was no need to buy them. On the way, Mulan and Zhao Yun discussed the matter of building a house. Mulan was not like Zhao Yun's family, who wanted to build a big house. Their family planned to build 3 or 4 houses. Even if 3 or 4 houses were to be built with bricks and tiles, they should be able to build a house with more than 10 taels of silver if they were frugal. Thinking about it, if they were to build a new house, their family would naturally be much more comfortable after moving out from family Zhu to live in a new house. Where to build the house? Mulan wanted to build it together with Zhao Yun's family. Therefore, this piece of land was chosen together with Zhao Yun. It just so happened that that piece of land was cheap. In the future, it would be more convenient for them to visit Zhao Yun when they were neighbors. As for the land that Mulan mentioned, Zhao Yun felt that it was a good idea. If Mulan's house was not built together with hers, her house would be left alone at the foot of the mountain. Mulan would go and live with them. Not only would it be more lively, but they could also take care of each other on normal days. If something were to happen, they would at least be able to call for help. When the car arrived at old Zhao's house, Liang Jinxiao and Zhao Yuner got out of the car and found that a carriage was parked in front of old Zhao's yard. It seemed like someone was coming. Zhao Yuner and Liang Jinxiao were curious. Normally, old Zhao's family didn't come into contact with any big shots. Zhao Yuner and Liang Jinxiao entered the courtyard and found that old Zhao's family members were surrounding a man and asking questions. This man was wearing dark red clothes and looked very luxurious. When Zhao Yuner saw this, she felt that this man's clothes were a little flirtatious. For a man to wear this kind of clothes, she felt that something was wrong. This man was about 25 or 26 years old. He had a square face and was not good-looking. His behavior gave people the impression that he was a rich second-generation heir from a good family. Of course, this was only for the people in the countryside. In Yang City, there were more people with such conditions. When this man came over, the most attentive person was Li Chuang. He kept talking in front of him and asked about his well-being, for fear that he would neglect him. Zhao Jing, on the other hand, stood to the side with her head lowered, looking shy. Seeing this, Zhao Yuner guessed. This man was probably the man that matchmaker Gao had found for Zhao Jin. He looked so rich. No wonder old Zhao's family members were so enthusiastic. Chapter 8:16. Zhao Yun couldn't help but shake her head. In terms of appearance and other things, without considering money, this man really didn't deserve Zhao Jing. Anyway, Zhao Jing was as pretty as a flower and as beautiful as jade, but this man was not only not good-looking, but also older than Zhao Jing by at least 7 years. With such a big age gap, could the two of them really get along? Old Zhao's family and Zhao Yun didn't care about these things. As long as the man was rich and could live a good life, everything was fine. They wouldn't consider anything else at all. Zhao Yun carried her things and walked into old Zhao's yard. She didn't hear what they were talking about until she got closer. Zhao Yun felt that a mouthful of blood was stuck in her chest, and she almost spat it out. The man's name was Jing Qian. Jing Qian said, "Uncle, Aunt, there's something I need to make clear to you. If I marry Jing, she won't be my legal wife, but a concubine." Hearing Jing Qian's words, old Zhao's family was struck dumb. They didn't know what Jing Qian meant. Even Zhao Jing stared at Jing Qian in shock. She thought she had married into a good family, but how could she be a concubine? Old Zhao's family wasn't stupid. A concubine was a concubine, and it wouldn't be good for their reputation. Ordinary families didn't like concubines. To put it bluntly, concubines were just concubines, and they had no status in the family. Hearing Jing Qian's words, old Zhao's family felt a little uneasy. They didn't know what to say. Li Chuang frowned and stammered, "A concubine? Mr. Zheng, why is Jing a concubine? Isn't she the legal wife?" This matchmaker Gao was really too much. She didn't even explain this clearly and made her happy for nothing. There was a big difference between a legal wife and a concubine. If her daughter really married a concubine, she wouldn't dare to brag to others that Zhao Jing had found a good family. If she told others, she would probably be laughed at. Jing Qian smiled. "Aunt, I already have a wife. It's precisely because my wife hasn't had any children that I want to marry a concubine. She can carry on the family line for me. As for the betrothal gifts, don't worry. We'll do it according to the legal wife. We won't mistreat Jing. If she can give birth to a fat boy for me after we get married, I'll give you an extra 100 taels of silver." Since Jing Qian's family, old Zhao's family was rich. Thinking about it, if the gift money was not a problem, and there were so many promises, there was really nothing much to say. It's just that it doesn't have a good reputation. If you don't care about that, it's fine. Old Zhao's family was silent and hesitant. They pulled Zhao Wenshui and Li Chuiying aside and said to them, "Actually, I don't think it's a big deal. Isn't it just a concubine? If Jing marries into your family, her life will be much better than that of an ordinary family. I think she can live a good life. Also, young Master Zheng's legal wife is a hen that can't lay eggs. If our Jing marries him and can really give birth to a son, the mother's status will rise because of her son. Maybe in the future, she can squeeze out the legal wife." Zhao Wenshui and Li Chuiying heard that and nodded. Chapter 8:17. Mom is right. As long as Jing'er gives birth to a son, she will have a good life in the future. Yes, that's true. If she misses out on Lord Zheng, it will be difficult for Jing'er to find such a good man. But all the villagers are poor. How can Jing'er live a good life? Then let's agree to the marriage and let Jing'er marry Lord Zheng. Will Jing'er agree? What's there to disagree about? We're not harming her. We just want her to live a good life. No matter how much we look forward to it, it won't happen. That's true. Many people can't wait for it. Speaking of which, our Jing'er is quite lucky. All right, let's talk to Lord Zheng about it. Don't think that we won't agree to marry another girl. It's such a good opportunity. If Jing'er doesn't agree, there are plenty of other people who will. Right. After the few of them finished their discussion, they turned around and walked over to Zheng Qian. Just as they were about to tell Zheng Qian that it was fine, Zhao Baoshan jumped out and said very sternly, "How can we do that? We country folk will not stoop to the level of being concubines. Lord Zheng, if Jing'er really wants to be a concubine, then forget it. Old Zhao's family can't afford to lose face." After Zhao Baoshan said that, Zhao Wenshui, Li Chuiying, and Hu Chunhua all thought that it was over. Now, Zheng Qian would probably be angry and really not agree to this marriage. Hu Chunhua immediately said to Zhao Baoshan, "Old man, why do you care so much about it? It's just a matter of reputation. If old Zhao's family doesn't talk about it, no one will know. The most important thing is whether Jing'er can live a good life after marrying into that family. Nowadays, people find a good man for their children because they want them to live a comfortable life in the future. Think about it, if Jing'er marries into that family, she can eat and drink well every day. She will also be taken care of by others. Compared to marrying into an ordinary family, she will have to work tirelessly to serve her in-laws, her husband, and her whole family, okay?" After Hu Chunhua said that, Zhao Baoshan snorted. "You only care about these things. How can a concubine be so good?" Old man, I say, why are you so stubborn? You only think about fame and reputation. Why do we care about things like face? What's the use of it? Could it be that they could be eaten as food? Don't you think about the children's future?" Li Chuiying followed Hu Chunhua and echoed, "Dad, the most important thing is that Jing'er can live a good life. Father, it's not easy for our Jing'er to marry into such a family. If she wants to be the legal wife, does she need to come all the way to our countryside to find someone?" Zhao Baoshan listened to Zhao Wenshui, Li Chuiying, and Hu Chunhua talking one after another. His frown deepened. What they said made sense, but in fact, it wasn't the case. They just wanted money. They made it sound nice. Zhao Baoshan coldly stared at the three of them. They would do anything for money. However, Zhao Jing'er was Zhao Wenshui and Li Chuiying's daughter. No matter how unwilling he was, he couldn't oppose it too much. Chapter 8:18. After all, Zhao Jing'er would be the one getting married in the end. Zhao Jing'er had the right to decide whether to marry or not. If Zhao Jing'er said that she was willing to be Zheng Qian's concubine, together with Zhao Wenshui and the other two, he couldn't continue to object. If Zhao Jing'er didn't agree, it would be better to cancel the marriage. Zhao Jing'er didn't expect Zhao Baoshan to come over and ask her. Zhao Jing'er had heard the conversation between her parents and her grandmother. She thought about it and felt that there was nothing wrong with what her parents had said. Compared to marrying a country bumpkin and suffering, She definitely wanted to live a good life. So she lowered her head and said to Zhao Baoshan timidly, "Grandpa, I think it's pretty good." This meant that she agreed. Zhao Baoshan sighed and didn't know what to say. Hua Chunhua was overjoyed and said to Zhao Baoshan, "Old man, look, Jing agreed. What else do you have to say?" Zhao Baoshan snorted and reminded Zhao Jin, Jing, you chose this path yourself. Don't regret it." Zhao Jin responded bitterly, "Okay, I know, Grandpa." With Hua Chunhua's matchmaking, Zhao Jin and Zheng Qian's marriage was settled. Zhao Yun heard these words and felt that her worldview was shattered. These people were really interesting. They actually thought that it was good to be someone else's concubine. To put it bluntly, it was actually sharing a man with another woman. Zhao Yun felt disgusted just thinking about it. In addition, she didn't know if old Zhao's family was crazy. Even Zhao Jin was crazy. Didn't they know that if Zhao Jin married over, she would be worse than a concubine? He wanted her to give birth to a son, but she was just a baby-making machine. If Zhao Jin married over and couldn't give birth to a son, one could imagine how Zhao Jin's life in the Zheng family would be in the future. Rich people knew how to scheme. Of course, old Zhao's family was greedy for money. They only thought about the good side and didn't consider the bad side. Zhao Yun didn't have much feelings for Zhao Jing. Thinking about it this way, Zhao Jing and Li Chuang were similar in terms of being greedy. Zhao Yun naturally couldn't say anything about her choice. Whatever Zhao Jing experienced in the future, that was her business. Everything that she might suffer in the future was her own choice. People had to be responsible for their own decisions. Zhao Yun stopped thinking about old Zhao's family and started to prepare lunch. At noon, she had lunch with her parents and entertained the men who were helping to chop trees in the mountains. When it was time for dinner, old Zhao's family had to prepare the meal. However, there was nothing good in old Zhao's house. He didn't know that Zheng Qian would suddenly come. It wasn't easy for Zheng Qian to come over, and he was from a rich family. Naturally, they couldn't neglect him. Zheng Qian came over this time with a lot of things, but they were all some pastries, candies, longan, and brown sugar. However, he didn't bring anything that could be cooked with meat. So for a while, old Zhao's family couldn't take out anything good to entertain him. It was one thing to have nothing to entertain him, but they couldn't let Zheng Qian leave and not eat at their house. Li Chuang pulled Hua Chunhua to the side and asked Hua Chunhua anxiously, "Mother, what should we do now? What should we entertain young Master Zheng at noon?" Chapter 8:19. In addition, if the reception wasn't good, people would think that old Zhao's family was too shabby and didn't take the Zheng family seriously. Hua Chunhua frowned. She was also worried about this. "Well, we don't have much good food at home. We don't have any meat or fish. We only have some vegetables. Mom, why don't we get some eggs? Can we catch another chicken and kill it? That way the food will be better." Hua Chunhua nodded. Although she didn't want to do that, she knew that she couldn't be stingy in this aspect. Seeing that Hua Chunhua agreed, Li Chuang happily agreed. He also flattered Hua Chunhua. "Mom, let's wait for Lord Zheng to give us the betrothal gifts." Hua Chunhua snorted. If it weren't for Zheng Qian's money, she wouldn't have agreed to kill a chicken to entertain Zheng Qian. She had to pay back the capital she had invested in him in the future. And it would be a bigger return. "I'm glad that you know." "Mom, we haven't separated from the main family yet. In the future, Lord Zheng's money will be given to you." "Sure," Hua Chunhua replied. Li Chuang happily ran up to Zheng Qian and said to him, "Young Master Zheng, why don't you have a meal at my house today before you leave? I'll kill a chicken for you at noon." Li Chuang just wanted to tell Zheng Qian that there would be delicious food for him at noon. However, right after Li Chuang said that, the waiter who came with Zheng Qian said, "Lord Zheng doesn't eat chicken." After the waiter said that, Li Chuang stiffened and said to Zheng Qian, "Oh, Lord Zheng, you don't eat chicken?" Li Chuang obviously looked a little disappointed. What should he do now? If Zheng Qian didn't eat chicken, what good food was there to entertain him at home? Zheng Qian smiled and said, "Auntie, just prepare some food for me at noon. I'm not particular." Li Chuang answered with a smile. It was true that it wasn't particular, but it couldn't be too shabby. Li Chuang was extremely anxious. He hurriedly pulled Hua Chunhua aside and asked, "Mother, what should we do now? Young Master Zheng won't eat chicken. Do we have anything else to offer?" Hua Chunhua frowned and said to Li Chuang, "Don't you know what we have? Think about it yourself, what kind of food can there be?" Hua Chunhua thought for a while. Indeed, there was nothing to eat. Their house was not in town, so they could not buy anything on the spur of the moment. He didn't have it at home, and he couldn't buy it. He had to think of a solution. No matter how much he thought about it, he couldn't think of anything. He could only feel anxious. Seeing Li Chuang like this, Hua Chunhua said to Li Chuang, "All right, don't worry. It's useless to be anxious." Saying that, Hua Chunhua rolled her eyes and said to Li Chuang, "I saw Yuner bring meat back. How about this? You can go and talk to Yuner and ask her to sell the meat to us. We'll pay her the money." Hearing that, Li Chuang's eyes lit up. He felt that Hua Chunhua's words made sense, so he nodded at once. "Mother, no problem. I'll go talk to Yuner right now." Li Chuang's flattery was very effective on Hua Chunhua. Chapter 8:20. Li Chuang smiled sheepishly and replied, "Mother, you're right. I'll definitely do as you say. Take your time. There's no rush." "Go ahead and let Yuner know," said Hua Chunhua. "Mother, I'll go right away." With that, Li Chuang eagerly ran to Zhao Yuner's room. Actually, Li Chuang didn't think it was enough to just borrow the meat. If she could get Zhao Yun, or cook a bowl of pig offal and bring it over for Zheng Qian to eat, it would be much more sumptuous to treat Zheng Qian. Although she thought this way, whether Zhao Yun would agree or not depended on what Zhao Yuner said. Zhao Yun was preparing to cook in the kitchen when she saw Li Chuang walk over with a solicitous expression. Zhao Yuner raised her eyebrows and asked Li Chuang, "Oh, second aunt, what brings you here?" Li Chuang smiled fawningly at Zhao Yuner's question. "Yun, I actually want to ask you for a favor." "Oh, second aunt actually came to ask me for a favor." Zhao Yun looked like she was making a fuss over nothing. Li Chuang knew that she didn't get along with Zhao Yun normally and said a lot of bad things to her. At this moment, Zhao Yun was being picky and making things difficult for her. It was understandable. Li Chuang said even more fawningly, "It's second aunt's fault. You're a good girl, so don't be so calculative with second aunt, okay?" Zhao Yun glanced at Li Chuang with a half smile. Actually, she couldn't be bothered to argue with her. "Second aunt, what's the matter? Just say it. You don't have to beat around the bush." Li Chuang said with a smile, "Look, Jing Er's future husband is coming to our house today. He is a rich man, so old Zhao's family should treat him well. But we don't have anything good to serve you at home, so we were wondering if you could sell us the pork you bought today. If possible, could you also give us a bowl of your fried pig offal?" After Li Chuang finished speaking, he looked at Zhao Yuner expectantly. Zhao Yuner sneered. She didn't know where Li Chuang got the nerve to say those words. She usually made things difficult for her, but now she had the nerve to ask for her help. She wasn't stupid. Seeing that Zhao Yuner didn't say anything, Li Chuang suddenly became anxious. He said to Zhao Yuner, "Yuner, please help us with this. Jing finally found a good husband, and I really hope she can marry him and live a happy life. Even if you don't want to give second aunt face, you have to think about Jing. After all, she is your cousin, don't you think so?" Zhao Yuner smiled. "You're right, second aunt. Since that's the case, I'll sell it to you." Li Chuang was delighted. That's great. Yuner is so generous and sensible. But, Zhao Yuner continued, which made Li Chuang's heart skip a beat. "What's wrong?" Li Chuang asked. "But second aunt, I have to treat someone at noon, and I brought it all the way from the town for you. Of course, I have to pay more." Chapter 8:21. It's not much. "Aunt, I'll sell it to you for 100 copper coins per kilo of meat. If you really want to eat the pig's offal, it'll be 100 copper coins. The total is 200 copper coins. If you think it's okay, just give me the money." As soon as Zhao Yun finished her words, Li Chuang's face changed. Wasn't Zhao Yun asking for too much? It wasn't just a little more money. She was asking for a lot of money. Li Chuang said to Zhao Yun angrily, Yun, how can you do this? Aren't you cheating me? Zhao Yun smiled and sneered, Aunt, you're wrong. I'm not forcing you to buy it. Since you don't want it, you don't have to buy it. Li Chuang felt that there was a mouthful of blood in her chest, and she almost spat it out. Zhao Yun, this be asterisk. She was sure that she had to buy it from her. It was noon now. How could she get something to serve Jing Qian in such a short time? Seeing Li Chuang staring at her without saying anything, Zhao Yun chuckled. Since you don't want to buy it, let's move. Our kitchen is small and I still have to cook. Li Chuang gritted her teeth. Who said I don't want to buy it? Wait a minute, I'll go ask your grandmother first. Li Chuang turned and walked out of Zhao Yun's kitchen. It was so much money. She had to discuss it with Hua Chunhua and get Hua Chunhua's approval. Anyway, she had to make Jing Qian satisfied with the meal. If she showed enough respect, she would ask for more betrothal gifts when the time came. In this way, 200 copper coins wasn't a big deal. Li Chuang went to Hua Chunhua and told her about it. When Hua Chunhua heard that it actually needed 200 copper coins, she immediately exploded. Little bitch, you've learned how to rip people off. I don't know how many good things you can buy with 200 copper coins. Hua Chunhua was so angry that she wanted to kill Zhao Yun. Li Chuang quickly nodded and said, Mother, that's right. That girl, Zhao Yun, wants to take advantage of this opportunity to rip off people. I'm not buying it. It's only 200 coins. Why would I give it to her for free? Hua Chunhua said angrily. It wasn't as if their family had too much money to spend. Li Chuang was extremely anxious and hurriedly said to Hua Chunhua, Mother, we can't not buy it. Even if that little b asterisk teeth cheats us, if we don't buy it, what will we use to entertain her at noon? Then I won't entertain you. Mother, now is not the time to throw tantrums. If the marriage between young Master Zheng and Jing fails, how much money will our family lose? Without our Jing, there are plenty of girls waiting to marry young Master Zheng. Mother, as long as Jing marries him and gives birth to a chubby son, our family will be able to earn 100 taels of silver. Compared to 100 taels of silver, 200 copper coins is nothing. Hua Chunhua's anger subsided after Li Chuang's persuasion. Li Chuang was right. Jing Qian had to entertain them well. Thinking about the gift money and the 100 taels of silver that Jing Qian was about to give, Hua Chunhua endured the pain and said to Li Chuang, I'll go to the room to get the money first. Li Chuang happily agreed. After Hua Chunhua took out the money, Li Chuang took the money and went to Zhao Yun's kitchen. Yun, here's 200 copper coins. Give me the meat and remember to prepare a portion of pig offal for me. Chapter 8:22. When Zhao Yun saw Li Chuang's pained expression when he handed over the money, she couldn't help but feel pleased. Li Chuang and Hua Chunhua had cheated so much. It would be strange if they didn't feel bad about it. In fact, 1 kilo of meat that Zhao Yun bought only cost 13 copper coins and 1 copper coin for the pig's offal. Including the cost of processing, it would be 15 to 16 copper coins. After deducting the cost, she had made more than 180 copper coins, which was enough for her to sell a lot of breakfast. When you're done, bring the pig's offal to me. Li Chuang reminded her. Zhao Yun nodded. Got it, Aunt. Li Chuang reminded her, then left Zhao Yun's room. After Li Chuang left, Liang Jinxiao went to Zhao Yun and said to Zhao Yun, is it appropriate for us to do this? Why did you ask for so much money from your second aunt? Zhao Yun knew that Liang Jinxiao was a shy person. He would feel embarrassed to take so much money from old Zhao's family, so she said to Liang Jinxiao, Mother, it's no big deal. They're always so bad. We should get something from them, don't you think so? Liang Jinxiao smiled helplessly. His second daughter was always full of ideas. Without a doubt, Hua Chunhua and Li Chuang must be very angry at this moment. If we give the meat to your aunt, what should we eat for lunch? Mother, we have a lot of good dishes for lunch. I asked Tianfu to bring me some tiger meat and fish head. We can also make some fish and tofu. We can also save a bowl of pig's offal. We can also stir-fry 2 vegetables and make a soup. Isn't that good? Liang Jinxiao listened and nodded. It was indeed good. Ordinary people in the countryside wouldn't have such good food. Okay, let's eat for lunch. Okay. Father and the others are tired from working. They should eat more good food. Yes, physical work requires strength. If they don't eat more, they won't have the strength to work. While the mother and daughter were talking, the men who went up the mountain to chop trees came back. The men chopped 3 to 4 trees in the morning. If they went to chop more trees in the afternoon, it would be enough. The thick branches could be used to build a house, while the thin branches and leaves were all chopped down by the men with axes and machetes. These branches and leaves were actually good things. Unlike the people in the 21st century, the ancient people in the ancient times didn't have liquefied natural gas. They used wood. Natural wood was used to make a fire. Basically, the rice was used, s's cooking est cooking, and other, to uses. Used, s of std, t beat burn, s. Therefore they would usually cut some wood. When the men came back, each of them was dragging a lot of branches in their hands. Seeing this, Liang Jinxiao felt a burst of joy. He didn't have to worry about the wood this year after it was dried and stored. You must be tired. Come in and have a seat. It'll be ready in a while. The men wiped the beads of sweat on their foreheads and responded with a smile. Then they went into the house to rest. Herbal tea was already prepared on the table in the 3rd room. After they went in, each of them poured a cup of tea and drank it. The tea quenched their thirst, and they immediately felt much better. Chapter 8:23. Zhao Yun was very fast at cooking. After a while, the dishes were out of the pot. After cooking one dish, Zhao Yun asked Liang Jinxiao to bring it to the table and asked the men to eat first. It would take some time for the men to drink, and the remaining dishes would be served one by one. When Zhao Yun finished cooking the pig's offal, old Zhao's family was also waiting for lunch. Zhao Yun put a plate of pig's offal and brought it over. Old Zhao's family moved the table out and prepared to eat in the yard. Zheng Qian was asked to sit at the top table. Hua Chunhua cooked the lunch herself. Except for the 3rd branch and the 4th branch, the 1st branch and the 2nd branch were not good at cooking. If the meat was cooked for them, it would be a waste of ingredients. Now that the 3rd branch was separated, the 4th branch's daughter-in-law went up the mountain to help cook, so she had to cook by herself. The meat was stewed, so there was no need to put oil in it. Otherwise, if it was braised, oil would have to be added. Hua Chunhua was reluctant to do that. In addition to the meat, Hua Chunhua also cooked a few side dishes. This time, she put more oil in them, which was rare. However, the dishes were dark and looked unappetizing. After putting the dishes on the table, Zheng Qian glanced at them and didn't want to eat. Li Chuang attentively put the bowls and chopsticks on the table and asked Zheng Qian to eat. Child Zheng, come on. You must be hungry. Hurry up and eat. Zheng Qian glanced at the bowls and chopsticks again. They were very old and even had some mold on them. They looked dirty. Zheng Qian had no appetite. He didn't even want to touch the bowls and chopsticks. Seeing that Zheng Qian didn't want to eat, Lu Chuang's heart tightened. She asked, Child Zheng, is it because our food is too shabby and you don't like it? Before Zheng Qian could say anything, the attendant who came with him couldn't help complaining, Your dishes are so dirty. It would be strange if our young master has an appetite to eat them. Even I don't want to eat them. After the attendant finished speaking, the expressions of old Zhao's family members changed slightly. They were very embarrassed. These dishes didn't look good, but with a lot of oil and water, they were much better than usual. Well, Li Chuang didn't know what to say. No matter how much she thought about it, she didn't expect Zheng Qian to dislike the food because it wasn't clean. What should I do now? The dishes have already been cooked, and there is no way that I can cook them again, Zheng Qian said lightly. It's okay, Auntie. I'm not hungry. You can eat. Li Chuang understood that even though Zheng Qian said he was fine, he didn't want to eat because the food was not to his liking. While Li Chuang was worrying about what to do, Zhao Yun finished making the pig offal. She filled a bowl, brought it over, and placed it on old Zhao's table. Zhao Yun'er's pleasant voice rang out. Second aunt, come here. When the pig offal was brought over, a fragrant smell entered everyone's nose. Smelling the smell, people couldn't help but swallow their saliva. The taste should be pretty good too. Zheng Qian had never seen such a thing before. He looked into the bowl curiously. It also looked very good, and it was very appetizing. His gaze then fell on Zhao Yun. He found that the girl was very delicate and pretty. She wasn't a beauty, but she gave people a comfortable feeling. Especially her pair of dark eyes, they were very lively and seemed to be able to talk. Chapter 8:24. What's this? Zheng Qian pointed at the pig offal on the table and asked Zhao Yun curiously. Zhao Yun replied indifferently, pig offal. Hearing the words, pig offal, Zheng Qian and the servants' faces changed slightly. Pig offal? How can you serve such a dirty and smelly thing to my master? Do you think my master is like you country bumpkins? Even if he's serving ordinary people, he doesn't need to serve such a thing. The servant said angrily and looked at old Zhao's family with a trace of disdain in his eyes. Country bumpkins were country bumpkins. They didn't have anything good to serve them, so they only served such a useless thing. Zhao glanced at the servant speechlessly. What's wrong with pig offal? What's wrong with country bumpkins eating it? Don't eat it if you dare. I'm not asking you to eat it. Really? Hearing Zhao Yun's words, the servant was even angrier. Country bumpkins didn't know the rules at all. Anyway, he followed his master here, so he was considered a guest. How could he treat a guest with such an attitude? Master. The servant looked at Zheng Qian with an aggrieved expression, hoping that Zheng Qian would help him reprimand his master. Zheng Qian took a deep look at Zhao Yun, as if he was thinking about something. Li Chuang was afraid that Zheng Qian would be angry and misunderstand, so he hurriedly explained to Zheng Qian. Master Zheng, actually, it's not like that. It's not that we're poor and can only serve you pig offal. You don't know that the pig offal made by my niece is not only not smelly, but also tastes good. It's much better than meat. If you don't believe me, you can try it. The servant didn't notice until Li Chuang said so. It seemed that pig offal didn't stink. Zheng Qian nodded. Yes, aunt. If this girl didn't say it, who would know it was made of pig offal? It's really shocking. As for how it tastes, we can only comment after tasting it. My family's servants are too reckless. As Zheng Qian said, he picked up the chopsticks and curiously picked up a piece of pig offal to eat. When he tasted the pig offal, Zheng Qian was shocked. He didn't know that pig offal could taste so good. Delicious, delicious. I've eaten so many delicious things, but I've never tasted anything better than this. Zheng Qian's words were like a slap to the attendant's face. The attendant felt a little guilty because of his words just now. Li Chuang heaved a sigh of relief when he heard Zheng Qian's words. She was afraid that Zheng Qian would not eat, so there was nothing to serve Zheng Qian. Now, with Zhao Yun'er's pig offal, Zheng Qian could at least eat some. Xiao Lu, help me get some rice. Zheng Qian ordered the attendant. After eating the pig offal made by Zhao Yun'er, Zheng Qian immediately felt his appetite increase. He wanted to continue eating, so he ordered Xiao Lu to help him scoop rice. Xiao Lu nodded. Yes, young master. When the rice was placed on the table, the waiter served Zheng Qian a bowl of rice. Zheng Qian and old Zhao's family began to eat happily together. Because they were hosting Zheng Qian, the lunch today was definitely very good for old Zhao's family. Knowing that Zheng Qian would only eat pig offal, old Zhao's family tactfully didn't touch the pig offal and ate other dishes. At least there was meat today, which they couldn't eat normally. Chapter 8:25. She bit her chopsticks and hesitated for a while. In the end, she picked up a piece of pig's offal. There was so much pig's offal in the bowl anyway. It was fine for her to eat a little. She tasted the pig's offal, which was much better than other dishes. She looked at the pig's offal in the bowl again. When she was about to pick up another piece, Li Chuang couldn't help but say, Aunt, there's too much pig's offal. Auntie, there's only this much pig offal. Young Master Zheng still wants to eat more. You can eat one piece and leave the rest for young Master Zheng. Li Chuang said that in a negotiating tone, but Zhao Yun knew that Li Chuang was scolding her for being greedy. Zhao Ping pursed her lips and looked a little unhappy. Mom, I want to eat. There's so much pig's offal. What's wrong with me eating a few more pieces? Zhao Xinhui pulled Hua Chunhua's sleeves aggrievedly. Hua Chunhua cared about her daughter very much. She said to Li Chuang, the rest of us haven't eaten yet. What's wrong with letting your younger sister eat a few more pieces? Since Hua Chunhua stood up for him, Li Chuang naturally couldn't say anything more. However, he felt very uncomfortable in his heart. Zhao Xinhui was a gluttonous and insensible person. Hua Chunhua had spoiled her too much and spoiled her too much. Mom, Lord Jing doesn't have much to eat. My younger sister can eat a few pieces if she wants, but she can't help eating a lot. Li Chuang pouted. Zhao Xinhui was instantly annoyed. Lord Jing marrying Zhao Jinger had nothing to do with her. Aunt, you're so nice to your future son-in-law. What's wrong with me eating? Jing will only be a concubine in the future. How can you be so happy? Do you think your daughter has hooked a rich husband? Zhao Xinhui's tone was very aggressive. It seemed that she despised Li Chuang. Even Zhao Xinhui didn't care about Zheng Qian's background, not to mention that Zhao Jing was just marrying him as a concubine. Li Chuang's face immediately turned red. Zhao Xinhui, you little b****, what are you talking about? She must be jealous of their Jing. She couldn't get married, so she came out to make a fuss at this time. Wasn't she hoping that Zheng Qian would be angry and unhappy, so that the marriage with their Jing could not be discussed later? Zhao Jing's expression was also ugly, feeling that Zhao Xinhui was mocking her for her lack of knowledge. Zheng Qian coughed awkwardly. Auntie Jing is right. I shouldn't be the only one eating so much pig offal. You guys should eat it too. At least you know what's good for you. Zhao Xinhui snorted and continued to pick up the pig's offal with a proud look. Although Zheng had a lot of money, old Zhao's family knew that there was only so much money in a bowl. 1 yuan per person would probably be gone. It was better to leave it for Zheng Qian. Zheng Qian was quite satisfied with this meal because of Zhao Yun's pig offal. After eating, Zheng Qian became a little interested in Zhao Yun, so he pretended to ask casually, Auntie, this pig offal is really delicious. Who was the girl who brought the pig offal over? Li Chuang was angry at the mention of Zhao Yun and this bowl of pig offal. Chapter 8:26. Zheng Qian nodded with a thoughtful look on his face. Was Zhao Yuna really the kind of woman that Li Chuang described? Although Daodu was Mu Lianfeng's son, in Li Chuang's eyes, Zhao Yuna was just a woman with a child without any status. If His Highness really cared about her, why didn't he marry Zhao Yuna after she had his child? In the end, it was because Zhao Yuna didn't have enough weight in Mu Lianfeng's heart. The reason why Zhao Yuna could be so arrogant now was because Daodu was His Highness's child. Once His Highness abandoned Zhao Yuna would become a joke. Then this girl is quite pitiful. Zheng Qian was silent for a while and said with sympathy, Zhao Yuna gave birth to a son who was good-looking and a good cook. It would be great if he could marry such a woman as his concubine. Since she could give birth to a son in her first pregnancy, the chances of her giving birth to a son in her second pregnancy should be higher. Li Chuang snorted when he heard Zheng Qian say that Zhao Yuna was pitiful. Lord Zheng, you're overthinking it. This bitch isn't pitiful at all. She's living a happy life now. It's all because she has the ability to hook up with a rich man. Zheng Qian heard the jealousy in Li Chuang's words, and the corners of his mouth curved up slightly. If this woman wanted to hook up with a rich man because of money, it would be even better. His family was relatively rich. If he gave Zhao Yuna some money, she might be willing to marry him and give birth to a son for him. Li Chuang saw Zheng Qian deep in thought, but didn't know what he was thinking. Lord Zheng, why are you asking about that bitch? Zheng Qian smiled. Nothing. Sigh, then let's not talk about her anymore. I feel unlucky talking about her. Zheng Qian responded, but his mind was still thinking about Zhao Yun, especially Zhao Yun's impatient and shrewish look, which was different from most women. In the room of the third branch, the family was eating and chatting happily. After chopping the wood today, The next 2 days would be to process the wood into slices or pillars and so on. This was relatively time-consuming. Su Yukai was also a carpenter in addition to helping people do some rough work. Therefore, for this kind of work, there was no need to specially hire a carpenter. Once the wood was processed, they could start laying the foundation. Time flies when you're busy. There was no sign of the current house, but it wouldn't be long before the new house would be built. During dinner, Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao inevitably talked to Su Yukai about Zhao Tianan's marriage. Tomorrow, the two children would go to Yang City to play and meet at the same time. Su Yaocai's niece and her mother would go to Yang City to do some shopping tomorrow. Upon hearing this, Zhao Tianan's reaction was very fierce. He put the bowl and chopsticks on the table. "Mother, I'm not going." Except for Ma Xiaofeng, he didn't want to look at other girls, let alone marry other girls. Zhao Tianan's sudden awkwardness made the people of the third branch stunned. Usually, Zhao Tianan wasn't like this. He was usually very obedient and had never resisted like this. Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao's faces darkened. "Tianyu, father, mother, I'm not going. I don't like this marriage." Chapter 827. Liang Jinxiao sighed and said, "Tianan, we're doing this for your own good. This marriage was originally arranged by your parents. We'll definitely find a good girl for you. We won't hurt you." Zhao Tianan was still reluctant. "Mom, I don't want to do this. I don't even know who this girl is, and I don't even know what she looks like. How can I marry her?" "You don't know her, and you'll know when you meet her tomorrow. I didn't say that you have to agree to this marriage. I just want you to see if the girl is suitable for you." Zhao Tianan was silent for a while, then said to Liang Jinxiao, "Mom, I know, but Mom, if I want to marry a wife, I only want to marry someone I like. I don't like the girl. If I marry her, it'll only be a waste of time." Zhao Tianan mustered up the courage to finish his words. If it were any other day, he naturally wouldn't dare to say this. However, when he thought about Ma Xiaofeng and his future happiness, if he didn't say it this time and let his parents make the decision, the chances of him being together with Ma Xiaofeng in the future would be even slimmer. After saying these words, Zhao Tianan lowered his head. He was very nervous and didn't know what his parents would say. Zhao Wenhua was furious with Zhao Tianan. "The girl you like? Aren't you talking about Xiaofeng? Tianan, it's not that we don't agree, but if you marry her, will Xiaofeng's mother agree? This marriage is basically arranged by the parents, so your marriage naturally has to be arranged by your mother and me." Zhao Tianan was unconvinced. "Dad, you didn't go to Xiaofeng's house to talk about marriage. How do you know she won't agree?" Zhao Wenhua was speechless by Zhao Tianan's words. His son had set his sights on Ma Xiaofeng, and only Ma Xiaofeng could marry him. This marriage has to be of equal social status. It's not that father and mother think that Xiaofeng is not good, but with your uncle Yukai introducing you, it will definitely be much better than looking for Xiaofeng's family. Tianan, you're still young, and there are many things that you don't know yet. You'll understand in the future. Marriage isn't just about two people who like each other. It depends on many conditions." Zhao Wenhua said earnestly. Like Liang Jinxiao, he didn't want Zhao Tianan and Ma Xiaofeng to be together. It wasn't because he didn't like Ma Xiaofeng, but because Ma Xiaofeng's family was special. Ma Xiaofeng was brought up by Chen Chuanxiu, and Chen Chuanxiu was an unreasonable person. Zhao Wenhua was worried that there would be problems in the future if they became in-laws with such a family. When Zhao Tianan heard this, he couldn't help but say, "Dad, you're just making excuses. You just don't want me to be with Xiaofeng. According to what you said, the gap between second sister and Shitzi is even bigger. Our family and Shitzi's family are not of equal social status. Does that mean second sister will never be able to marry Shitzi in the future?" At this time, Zhao Tianan brought up Zhao Yun and Mu Lianfeng, which made Zhao Yun a little unhappy. This younger brother of hers was really stupid, and he was getting more and more overboard. He couldn't tell who was good to him, and he still foolishly hoped to be with Ma Xiaofeng. Zhao Yun wanted to slap him a few times to wake him up. Chapter 828. Second sister. Zhao Tianan was slightly stunned. He didn't expect Zhao Yun'er to say that. He felt wronged and upset at the same time. Zhao Wenhua responded angrily, "It's the parents' orders and the matchmaker's words. Since he's so against it, then we'll just ignore it. I'd like to see if he can really marry Xiaofeng. If he does, then we'll split up. You two can live together. Our family doesn't want to get into any trouble in the future." Zhao Tianan felt very wronged. Why did his parents and sister treat him like this? Was it wrong to be with the person he liked? Why were his parents and second sister so against it and forcing him to? Liang Jinxiao sighed and glanced at Zhao Tianan. Although he felt sorry for his son, he knew that he should be ruthless. Otherwise, Zhao Tianan would stubbornly marry Ma Xiaofeng. Zhao Tianan clenched his fists and suddenly stood up. "I must go to Xiaofeng." After saying that, Zhao Tianan rushed out of the house. Liang Jinxiao shook his head, not knowing what to say. Zhao Wenhua snorted angrily. "Let him go. Why is this child becoming more and more disobedient as he grows up?" Liang Jinxiao sighed. "Sigh, it can't be helped. That child has taken a fancy to Xiaofeng." After saying that, he looked at Su Yukai apologetically. "Brother Yukai, I'm sorry. You've worked hard to help our family, but my son..." Seeing the guilt in Liang Jinxiao's heart, Su Yukai waved his hand and said, "It's okay, it's okay. Sigh, children can't be controlled when they grow up. Our son is the same. I'll talk to my brother later and put this marriage matter aside for the time being." Zhao Wenhua said apologetically, "Then I'll have to trouble brother Yukai." "It's okay. This matter couldn't be blamed on the adults. It was all because the child was immature, so Su Yukai naturally had nothing to say." After the men finished eating, they chatted for a while and then prepared to go up the mountain to chop trees. Mu Lianfeng had something to deal with in the afternoon, so he didn't go. When Zhao Yuna went back with Mu Lianfeng, she found several holes in Mu Lianfeng's clothes. It was probably because he was scratched by a branch when he was chopping down a tree. Originally good clothes, suddenly become like this. Zhao Yuna frowned. "Mu Lianfeng, you shouldn't do any rough work in the future." Zhao Yun'er couldn't help but say. The interest created by this guy was not even worth what he was losing. If he worked a few more times, his clothes would probably be ruined and he would not be able to wear them anymore. Mu Lianfeng was stunned. He raised his eyebrows and asked, "Why? Look at how torn your clothes are." Zhao Yun'er pointed at the tear on Mu Lianfeng's clothes. Mu Lianfeng looked at it. Indeed, there were big holes on his back and legs. Mu Lianfeng frowned. He didn't even notice it. With such a big hole, he probably couldn't wear his clothes anymore. "Then I'll change my clothes. If I work next time, I'll wear these torn clothes," Mu Lianfeng said with a smile on his face. Zhao Yun'er glared at Mu Lianfeng. "What a waste. It's not like you can't wear the torn clothes. Take them off and I'll patch them up." Mu Lianfeng was stunned. He had never worn patched clothes before. Chapter 829. Even if the clothes were not damaged at all and could still be worn, he would change them all. For such torn clothes, he would definitely not continue wearing them after patching them up. No matter how thrifty the heir presumptive's residence was, they would never think of saving such a small amount of money on him. There's no need for that, right? It's so troublesome, you'll have to patch it up." "I don't know how to patch it up." Mu Lianfeng frowned and asked resentfully. Zhao Yun'er reprimanded him sternly. "Mu Lianfeng, it's shameful to waste money. Do you know that? If you patch up these clothes, they'll definitely be fine and can be worn." Mu Lianfeng looked at Zhao Yun'er's angry little face and nodded. "All right then, it's been hard on you." Zhao Yun'er waved her hand. "It's okay, I'll patch it up for you." When they reached home, Zhao Yun'er asked Mu Lianfeng to take off his clothes and she took out her needle and thread. Looking at Mu Lianfeng's clothes, there were too many holes and it would not be easy to patch them up. Zhao Yun'er's needlework was also average and not particularly good. After patching up Mu Lianfeng's clothes, Zhao Yun'er looked at her needlework and it was a terrible sight. Fortunately, she did not look closely. If she did not look closely, she would not discover anything. "It seems a little ugly." Zhao muttered and looked at Mu Lianfeng apologetically. Mu Lianfeng's lips curved into a smile. It's okay. Thinking that Zhao Yun had patched it up for him personally, Mu Lianfeng felt that he would wear it no matter how ugly it was. In this lifetime, she had never patched up his clothes. Now it's time to patch up your pants. Take them off. Zhao Yun said very naturally. Mu Lianfeng looked a little embarrassed. Take off my pants? Yeah, if you don't take off your pants, how am I supposed to fix it for you? Mu Lianfeng smiled bitterly. I'll take it off. He was only wearing a pair of bedding pants. If he took off his pants, wouldn't Zhao Yun see it? He had never taken off his pants in front of a woman before. Thinking about it, he felt a little shy. Zhao Yun did not think of this and urged Mu Lianfeng to take it off quickly. The sooner he took it off, the sooner she could make up for it. Mu Lianfeng dawdled for a while, then awkwardly took off his pants. Yun here. Zhao Yun took it and looked at Mu Lianfeng. He was so careful. Why did it seem like she was forcing a good girl into prostitution? This guy, did he have to show such an expression? Holding Mu Lianfeng's trousers, Zhao Yun mended them and found that the crotch area was torn. Zhao Yun was curious. No matter how powerful this branch was, it shouldn't have torn Mu Lianfeng's crotch, right? It was more troublesome to sew the crotch than an ordinary hole. Zhao Yun fiddled with it for a while. As she sewed, she muttered to herself, "Did I accidentally make this hole or accidentally cause it to explode?" After Mu Lianfeng heard Zhao Yun's muttering, he looked even more embarrassed. "Yun, it should have been accidentally cut. Let me see if your bedding pants are torn. If it's torn, I'll mend it for you." With that, Zhao Yun's hand went to Mu Lianfeng's crotch to see if there was a hole. It would have been better if she didn't see it. Once she saw it, she was immediately stunned, because her hand fell on a sensitive part of Mu Lianfeng's body. Chapter 830. After Zhao Yun touched something of his, Mu Lianfeng's body seemed to be electrocuted, and his whole body couldn't help but tremble. Zhao Yun looked very embarrassed. She couldn't wait to find a hole to hide in. Of all the things she could touch, she just had to touch Mu Lianfeng's thing below. When Zhao Yun's hand touched it, Mu Lianfeng felt that the thing below had an uncontrollable reaction. Mu Lianfeng felt that his chest was quickly strung together with a ball of fire. Zhao Yun quickly retracted her hand. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean it." Zhao Yun hurriedly apologized. Mu Lianfeng shook his head, and a helpless smile hung on the corner of his mouth. "It's okay." Zhao Yun's heart slightly tightened. Mu Lianfeng wouldn't be angry, right? Looking at his expression, it seemed that something was wrong. "Mu Lianfeng, are you okay?" Zhao Yun asked carefully. "I'm okay, but what?" Zhao Yun's heart tightened even more. "But Yun, you have to take responsibility for what you did to me." After Mu Lianfeng finished speaking, he pounced over like a hungry wolf and pressed Zhao Yun under his body. Zhao Yun could feel a hard thing in her abdomen. It's over. I must have played with fire just now." Mu Lianfeng couldn't control himself for a while. Men were like this. When they went crazy, they were definitely like beasts. Zhao Yun was pressed down and had no strength to resist. She could only let Mu Lianfeng press on her body. "Mu Lianfeng, don't be impulsive. I'm not ready yet." Thinking about doing that kind of thing, Zhao Yun blushed from the tips of her ears to her neck. I want you." These 3 words floated out of Mu Lianfeng's mouth softly, making Zhao Yun's face even hotter. "What kind of joke is this? This is not funny at all. Mu Lianfeng, what if Daoist comes back? Even if we want to do this, we have to choose a good time, don't you think so? It's broad daylight, there's no mood at all." Zhao nervously stuttered. Hearing what Zhao Yun said, Mu Lianfeng couldn't help but smile. What Zhao Yun said made Mu Lianfeng feel that it was very funny. Yun was really cute. Mu Lianfeng was just teasing Zhao Yun. Just as he was about to get up from Zhao Yun's body, Zhao Yun's door was pushed open with a creak. Mu Lan looked at the scene in front of her in surprise. Shi Ziyi was actually pressing on Zhao Yun's body. Then he should be preparing to do that kind of thing. Mulan saw this awkward scene and didn't know what to do. She had a feeling that she couldn't advance or retreat. This kind of thing was already embarrassing. Fortunately, Zhao Yun and Mu Lianfeng didn't take off their clothes. If the two of them were doing that kind of thing, it would be even more awkward. Mulan thought in her heart, these two people are really... Don't they know how to close the door when doing this kind of thing? If the door was closed, she wouldn't have barged in so easily. Fortunately, she had seen it. If someone else had seen it, what would he do? Mulan's face also couldn't help but turn red. Mu Lianfeng calmly got up from Zhao Yun's body, as if nothing had happened. Chapter 8:31. When Zhao Yun's words fell into Le Mulan's ears, it was as if Zhao Yun was complaining that Le Mulan came over and disturbed their mood. No one wanted to be caught doing this kind of thing. Mulan pulled her lips awkwardly and said to Zhao Yun, "Why did I come here?" Mulan seemed to be in a hurry. She then looked at Zhao Yun and said to Zhao Yun, Zhao Yun, you can continue. I need to go back now." Saying that, Mulan turned around and was about to leave Zhao Yun's house. Zhao Yun's face was unusually hot. She glanced at Mu Lianfeng with hidden bitterness, as if she was saying to Mu Lianfeng, "See, it's all because of you that I was misunderstood." Mu Lianfeng looked at Zhao Yun with grievance. He didn't know that Mulan would suddenly break in. Daoist went out to have fun, so he definitely wouldn't come back for a while. Usually at this time, no one would come to Zhao Yun, so she was more casual. Zhao Yun sighed deeply in her heart. She knew that even if she wanted to explain to Mulan, Mulan wouldn't believe her. Zhao Yun cleared her throat and stopped Mulan. She said to Mulan, "Mrs. Mulan, we didn't do anything wrong. Why you here? Just tell me." Mulan's footsteps paused. She turned around and said to Zhao Yun, "In fact, it's nothing. I just came to tell you that my family's land has been settled with Li Zheng. Tomorrow I can let Erhu go over and level the land. Then we can start building a house." Zhao Yun nodded. It turned out that Mulan came to talk about this. "Okay, then we can build the house as soon as possible. Our families can help each other." "Sure." Mulan nodded. "If there's nothing else, I'm going back." Mulan only felt embarrassed. It was better for her to leave as soon as possible. Zhao Yun didn't want Mulan to leave right away. She felt that if Mulan left at this time, she would have an indescribable feeling. "Mrs. Mulan, is there nothing else? Why don't you stay for a while and we can chat?" Zhao Yun said embarrassedly. She was confused and didn't know what she was talking about. Mulan glanced at Mu Lianfeng, who was beside Zhao Yun, and said in a hurry, "We don't have much time to chat on weekdays. I have a lot of work to do at home. I have a lot of things to do." Since Mulan said so, Zhao Yun didn't say anything. She couldn't stop Mulan from going back, right? I'm going back now." When Mulan left, she glanced at Zhao Yun ambiguously and reminded her, "Yun, you have to close the door properly. It won't be good if someone breaks in. Don't you think so?" After that, Mulan left Zhao Yun's room and closed the door for Zhao Yun considerately. When Mulan was far away, Zhao Yun was still standing in her room in a daze. She didn't know what to do for a while. Mulan's meaning was obvious. She must think that something had happened between her and Mu Lianfeng. She felt sorry for her virginity. She couldn't clear her name even if she jumped into the Yellow River. Zhao Yun glanced at Mu Lianfeng with hidden bitterness, as if she was saying to Mu Lianfeng, "Don't do it again." Mu Lianfeng laughed and nodded. Today was definitely an accident. If he had expected it, it wouldn't have happened. "Okay, Yun, I promise I won't do it again." Chapter 8:32. The next morning, on the way to Yang City, Mulan couldn't help but get close to Zhao Yun's ear and start gossiping. "Yun, what do you think? His Highness is so tall and strong. He must have a good job, right?" Hearing Mulan's question, Zhao Yun blushed. She glanced at Mulan coquettishly and said to Mulan, "Sis-in-law Mulan, what are you talking about?" Mulan chuckled, "Alright, don't lie to me. It's not like I didn't see what happened yesterday." Zhao Yuna looked at Mulan helplessly. What could she say? What could she explain? No matter what she said, Mulan wouldn't believe her. Sis-in-law Mulan, it was really a misunderstanding yesterday. His Highness was just teasing me. It didn't happen at all, Zhao Yuna pouted. Mulan chuckled. Yuna, are you shy in front of me? Zhao Yun, naturally wouldn't admit to something she didn't do, not to mention this kind of shameful thing. Sis-in-law Mulan, do you think I'm shy? Do you think I'm shy? Zhao Yun'er said and winked at Mulan. Mulan saw that Zhao Yun'er didn't seem to be lying. Thinking of Zhao Yun'er's casual conversation with her, Mulan thought that Zhao Yun'er was indeed very generous and didn't know how to be shy at all. It seemed that nothing had happened between Zhao Yun'er and Mu Lianfeng. However, Mulan was slightly surprised. After thinking for a while, she finally said to Zhao Yun'er, Yun'er, aren't you afraid that His Highness can't control himself? You've already given birth to Daodu and lived with him for such a long time. There's nothing to be shy about. Zhao Yun'er didn't know how to respond to Mulan. It's his own business if he can't control himself. It has nothing to do with me, Zhao Yun'er pouted. Yun'er, you can't say that. What if His Highness can't control himself and goes to find other women? His Highness has a lot of women behind him. Mulan deliberately said so to see Zhao Yun'er's reaction. She couldn't understand why Zhao Yun'er hadn't slept with Mu Lianfeng after such a long time. Since they had decided to be together and had slept together before, it didn't matter if they slept together now. If Zhao Yun'er could get pregnant and give birth to a son, the chances of her marrying into His Highness's mansion in the future would be much higher. Zhao Yun'er frowned. Well, if he dares to find other women and can't control himself, I'll divorce him, Zhao Yun'er said very casually. After hearing Zhao Yun'er's words, Mulan couldn't help laughing. This was the first time she had heard a woman talk about divorcing a man. She wondered what His Highness would think if he heard it. His Highness is definitely a good man. Yun'er, you must cherish him well. Mulan reminded her. I know, sister-in-law Mulan. Although the two of them were discussing in a low voice, Mu Hin still heard the content of Zhao Yun'er and Mulan's conversation. When it came to the topic of men and women, Mu Hin lowered her head and blushed slightly. She, who was inexperienced, felt very shy. Thinking of that, Mu Hin recalled that after she finished washing the dishes last night, she was about to go to the toilet to relieve herself. However, halfway there, she was stopped by her brother-in-law's third brother, Zhu Sanlu. Chapter 8:33. Mu Hin found Zhu Sanlu's smile very creepy, especially his eyes, which were staring at her sneakily, as if he was sizing up his prey. Mu Hin sensed danger. Mu Hin looked at Zhu Sanlu as if he wanted to do something bad to her. After all, she had to obey the family manager's orders in the family manager's heart. She felt that Zhu Sanlu was in danger, but she didn't dare to shout, so she could only avoid him. Mu Hin thought nothing would happen if she ignored Zhu Sanlu and stayed away from him, but she was wrong. Zhu Sanlu wouldn't let her go so easily. Instead, he blocked her way. Mu Hin, where are you going? Zhu Sanlu asked with concern. When Mu Hin saw the smile on Zhu Sanlu's lips and the look in his eyes, she couldn't help but frown. She replied to Zhu Sanlu nervously, I'm going to the latrine pit. Zhu Sanlu raised his chin proudly. Oh, you're going to the latrine pit? Let's go together. I want to go too. Hearing Zhu Sanlu's words, Mu Hin's heart skipped a beat. You're a man and I'm a woman. How can the two of us go to the latrine pit together? If other people knew about it, they would laugh at her. Mu Hin didn't think she would do such a shameful and immoral thing. Zhu Sanlu smiled wretchedly. It's not a big deal. I can go to the latrine pit with my sister-in-law. It's fine even if the two of us go to the latrine pit. The latrine pit in my house can accommodate 2 people. Zhu Sanlu was talking about the time when he went to the latrine pit with Mrs. Qi. Mu Hin's view of the world was suddenly refreshed. How could there be such a strange thing in the world? How could a brother-in-law and sister-in-law go to the latrine pit together? Was this a joke? While Mu Hin was still in shock, Zhu Sanlu had already stepped forward and pulled Mu Hin. He said to Mu Hin, Let's go. Let's go together. When Mu Hin heard this, she was shocked. She didn't want it. If she really squatted down with Zhu Sanlu, wouldn't Zhu Sanlu be able to see all of her lower body? Mu Hin quickly withdrew his hand from Zhu Sanlu's and said to Zhu Sanlu, "If you want to go to the latrine, you can go alone. I won't go." Seeing that Mu Hin was about to escape, Zhu Sanlu would not let Mu Hin off so easily. Instead, he stood in front of Mu Hin and pretended to be very concerned. "How can you not go to the toilet? If you don't solve it in time, won't you suffocate to death?" Mu Hin's face flushed red. "I don't feel like doing it anymore. I won't hold it in. Well, if you don't want to go to bed with me, why don't you join me? We can also chat with each other, Sister Mu Hin," Zhu Sanlu said and moved closer to Mu Hin. He wanted to be closer to Mu Hin. Mu Hin wanted to step back, but unfortunately, there was a wall behind her. She had no choice but to let Zhu Sanlu get closer to her. "Sister Mu Hin, do you know that you are so beautiful? I liked you when I first saw you. What do you think of me?" Zhu Sanlu felt that he was at least good-looking. He was not ugly, and he was also a scholar. After he confessed his love, Mu Hin might agree. At this moment, Mu Hin only felt disgusted. Chapter 8:34. How could she accept such a man? "I don't like you. Can you move away? Don't get so close to me," Mu Hin said, biting her lower lip. If it were an ordinary man, she would have shouted. The reason why she gave in to Zhu Sanlu was that she was afraid that her sister and family Zhu would make a scene if she made a scene. She had already caused enough trouble by coming here, and she didn't want to cause more trouble for her sister. "Hey Mu Hin, I like you so much. How can you reject me? I don't mean any harm to you. I just want to have a chat with you so that you can get to know me better," Zhu Sanlu said, and started to touch Mu Hin from head to toe. Mu Hin was terrified. She had never been treated like this before. If Zhu Sanlu succeeded, she would let Zhu Sanlu take advantage of her. She was a woman, and she might not be able to beat Zhu Sanlu physically. She could only bite Zhu Sanlu's arm hard. Zhu Sanlu groaned in pain, and Mu Hin took the opportunity to run away. When she arrived at Mu Lan's room, she patted her chest to calm herself down. Although nothing happened in the end, Mu Hin was still traumatized. The Zhu family was indeed a little dangerous. She had to protect herself well. Xiao Mao took them to Yang City. When they got out of the car, Mu Hin came back to her senses and hurried to work with Zhao Yuner and Mu Lan. Seeing Mu Hin in a trance, Mu Lan noticed and asked with concern, "Xianxia, what's wrong with you? Are you okay?" "I'm fine, sis," Mu Hin replied. "Could it be that he's exhausted?" Lan guessed. Mu Hin hurriedly said, "Sis, I'm really fine. Don't think too much. You don't look well today. I thought something happened to you. Xianxia, if you feel uncomfortable, remember to tell me." "Sister, I know." Mu Lan smiled and said, "It's good that you know. You must be tired these days. Today, I'll weigh a gene of meat and cook it for you." Mu Hin's eyes lit up at the mention of meat. Usually, when she was in the Mu family, she would only eat meat during the New Year. Even if the Mu family ate meat, there was so much meat in the house that she could only eat one piece at most. Therefore, the taste of meat was quite tempting to her. The gluttonous worm in his stomach kept stirring, and he couldn't wait to eat it. "Sis, is that true?" Looking at Mu Hin's expectant face, Mu Lan's heart ached slightly. The corners of his mouth curled up. "Of course. What's the point of earning money if we don't use it to buy meat? Sis, we still have to build a house. Shouldn't we be more frugal?" "It's fine. It's not like I'm eating it every meal. It's nothing." Mu Exen smiled and nodded. "Okay, sister. Sis, let's eat this meal. Harhua, and the rest still need to grow up. There's no need to be so frugal. We can buy some meat every now and then. With our family's current situation, we can afford to eat it. Okay." Hearing Mu Lan say that they could eat meat, Mu Hin threw away all her complicated emotions and worked with more energy. Now, she just hoped that she could finish her work early and go back early so that she could eat meat for lunch. Over the next 2 days, Zhao Yunner's wood was almost ready, but Mu Lan's land was still under construction. Chapter 8:35. Their family's life was not very good now. Building a house would cost a lot of money, so they tried to save as much as possible. After all, he had nothing to do. If he worked alone, he would just be busy for a few more days. After Zhao Yun'er's family got the wood, they began to prepare to lay the foundation. When they were laying the foundation, the other bricklayers did not come. Only Zhao Yun'er's eldest uncle and second uncle, Su Yukai, and Guiguizhen came. Zhao Yun'er's family was busy on one side, while Zhu Eru was busy on the other side. In the afternoon, the weather was getting hotter. Mu Lan asked Mu Hin to bring some water to Zhu Eru. When they arrived at the foundation bought by the family Zhu, Mu Hin's clear and sweet voice called out, "Brother-in-law, you must be tired. Drink some water." When Zhu Eru heard Mu Hin's voice, he stopped what he was doing and took a rest. He smiled at Mu Hin and took the water bottle from Mu Hin's hand. He smiled at Mu Hin and said, "Thank you for coming here." Mu Hin shook her head and said, "It's okay, brother-in-law. You worked hard alone. I just ran some errands. It's not tiring." Zhu Eru drank a bowl of cold water, wiped his mouth and said, "Xin, you can't say that. You worked hard during the day, and you came back to bring me water." Zhu Eru said it simply, but Mu Hin was touched when she heard it. How could she not be happy when her value was recognized? "Brother-in-law, it's okay. No matter how tired I am, I'm not as tired as you and my sister." You should have a good rest when you go back. You have to take good care of your body." Mu Hin nodded and said, "I know, brother-in-law." As they were talking, Zhao Ping brought water to the men who helped the third branch. This time, Ma Xiaofeng was dragged along by Zhao Ping to accompany her. Ma Xiaofeng was too embarrassed to refuse Zhao Ping so she agreed to come along. He could also take the opportunity to visit Zhao Tianan and interact with Zhao Tianan. "Father, first uncle, second uncle, come and drink some water. I've brought the water for you," Zhao Ping shouted. The men stopped what they were doing and walked towards Zhao Ping. "Ping, you've worked hard," Su Yukai said with a smile. "Of course it's hard work. I came all the way here to bring you water." Zhao Ping pursed her lips. She seemed a little unhappy and unwilling. The corner of Su Yotsai's mouth twitched. He didn't know what to say for a moment. If a normal person had praised him like this, their reaction would not have been the same as Zhao Pinger's. Of course, Su Yukai didn't know what kind of person Zhao Yuna was. Zhao Wenhua glared at Zhao Pinger and said, "How can you say that? You're already so old. Don't you know how to speak properly?" Zhao Ping pursed her lips. She seemed to disagree very much. "Father, I didn't say anything wrong. I came all the way here to bring you water. I'm so tired." Zhao Wenhua's mouth twitched. He glared at Zhao Ping and said, "You haven't done much work yet and you're already saying that you're tired. If I let you do more work, won't you be exhausted to death?" "Father, how can you be like this? I came all the way here to bring you water, and you're actually saying that about me. If I had known earlier, I wouldn't have brought it to you." Zhao Ping stomped her feet angrily. Chapter 8:36. That's enough, Brother Wenhua. It's not easy for Ping to come all the way here to deliver the water. Don't scold her. Zhao Wenhua sighed. He thought about it and agreed. Forget it. If this girl continued to pursue the matter, she would be angered to death. Anyway, it wasn't the first time Zhao Ping had acted like this. "Ping, you can go back after delivering the water." Zhao Wenhua calmed himself down and said to Zhao Ping, as the saying goes, out of sight, out of mind. Since she couldn't see Zhao Ping, she naturally didn't feel anything. Zhao Ping was a little unhappy when she saw Zhao Wenhua's disdainful expression. "Father, I worked so hard to come all the way here, and you actually want me to go back? You're too mean." Zhao Wenhua frowned when he saw Zhao Ping panting with anger. He only felt a headache coming on. Who knew what was in this girl's head? She kept saying these strange things. "If you don't go back, what are you doing here? The sun is so hot, and it's uncomfortable." Zhao Ping pursed her lips and said, "Father, why do you care? Anyway, I'm just here for a while. Why don't you let Tianan rest and chat with us? Zhao Wenhua wasn't a fool. When he saw Ma Xiaofeng behind Zhao Ping, he knew that Zhao Ping was definitely trying to make Zhao Tianan and Ma Xiaofeng work together. Hence, he frowned and said, "We still have work to do. Why are you here to chat? Why are you delaying our work?" Upon hearing Zhao Wenhua's words, Zhao Ping was instantly unhappy. "Father, just do your work. I'm not delaying you. Tianan is still so young. Can't you let him rest for a while? You're so heartless." When Zhao Ping said that, Zhao Wenhua blushed. All right. Just rest on Tianan," Zhao Wenhua said in a fit of pique. Thinking about it, it was useless for him to interfere. This time, Zhao Tianan and Ma Xiaofeng did not stay together for a while. Later, they would definitely find time to make up for it. Since that was the case, he might as well not waste the effort to stop them. Father, that's right. Go and do your work. Tianan, come here," Zhao Ping said and waved at Zhao Tianan. As soon as Zhao Tianan saw Ma Xiaofeng, he was extremely shy. He lowered his head, but his ears were red. "Big sister?" Zhao Tianan shyly called out to Zhao Ping. "Ah, Tianan, why are you so restrained? Come here. Don't stand so far away," Zhao Ping called out to him. After Zhao Ping said that, Zhao Tianan shyly walked over. However, he still did not dare to raise his head to look in the direction of Zhao Ping and Ma Xiaofeng. Zhao Ping could not help but tease him. "Tianan, why are you so shy? Really? If you're so shy now, when you're with Xiaofeng in the future, will you not even dare to hold her hand? Not even dare to kiss her lips?" After Zhao Ping said that, Zhao Tianan lowered his head even more. "Big sister, what are you talking about? Thinking about holding hands and kissing Ma Xiaofeng?" Zhao Tianan's heart thumped nervously. Not to mention holding hands, even if he got close to Ma Xiaofeng and leaned against her, he would be embarrassed. However, his sister did not know what he was thinking. She probably thought that he was thick-skinned and did not know how to be shy. Zhao Pinger's words also made Ma Xiaofeng feel a burst of embarrassment. How could she say it so bluntly? Only Zhao Ping dared to say it so carelessly. If others heard it, they would probably be laughed at and scolded. Chapter 837. Big Sister? Zhao Tianan pouted coquettishly like a little girl. He looked at Zhao Ping with a hint of resentment in his eyes. Seeing Zhao Tianan's little red face, Zhao Ping realized that her little brother was shy. Zhao Ping couldn't help but laugh. "Ha, Tianan, this is really nothing. It's just holding hands and kissing. What's there to be embarrassed about? When you and Xiaofeng get married, you'll still have to do that in bed. You're so shy. How are you going to do that with Xiaofeng in the future? You'll probably run away shyly with your pants before you even take them off, right? Big sister." Zhao Tianan only felt that at this moment, he really wanted to find a place to hide. Being teased by Zhao Ping like this, most people wouldn't be able to stand it. Ma Xiaofeng tugged at Zhao Pinger's sleeve and said to Zhao Ping, "Big sister Ping, I think you should stop talking. Tianan is thin-skinned and gets shy easily." Ma Xiaofeng's words sounded like she was defending Zhao Tianan and helping Zhao Tianan out of his predicament. So when Zhao Tianan heard this, he was very touched. Xiaofeng was still the best. She always thought of him first in everything she did, unlike many people who didn't consider his feelings at all. He had a shy and dull personality, so he didn't stand out among many people. There were very few people who cared about him. The more Zhao Tianan thought about it, the more determined he was to be with Ma Xiaofeng. Only when he was with her did he feel that he was cared for. When Ma Xiaofeng said this, Zhao Ping chuckled and said, Okay. I won't talk about Tianan anymore, okay? Sigh, now that the two of you are wearing the same pants, you've learned to defend each other." As Zhao Ping said this, she turned to Zhao Tianan and said, "Tianan, I finally called Xiaofeng over and created an opportunity for you. You should chat with Xiaofeng a little more and seize the opportunity." Zhao Tianan responded shyly and thanked Zhao Ping while he was at it. "Big sister, thank you. You're the only one in the family who supports me." When he thought of this, Zhao Tianan's heart ached. In fact, The person he liked and admired the most in the family was Zhao Yun. He didn't care about his own parents, but what Zhao Tianan wanted the most was Zhao Yun-er's consent. He hoped that Zhao Yun wouldn't object to him and Ma Xiaofeng being together. Unfortunately, in the end, except for his big sister, no one else agreed. He didn't know what to do. Just as he was lost in thought, Zhao Ping pushed Zhao Tianan and pushed Zhao Tianan in front of Ma Xiaofeng. At this time, Mu Hin, who had finished delivering the water, was ready to go back. When Mu Hin passed by Zhao Yun's land, Zhao Ping saw him. When Zhao Ping saw Mu Hin, she was a little angry. Zhao Yun knew that **teach didn't let her go to the town to help. Instead, she invited Mu Hin, an outsider, over. Zhao Ping blamed Mu Hin for not being able to go to the stall to help make money. If Mu Hin didn't go to help, Zhao Yun's stall would definitely not have enough manpower. When Zhao Yun was too busy, she would naturally regret firing her. Then she would definitely ask her to go over to help again. Unexpectedly, Mu Hin suddenly jumped out. With Mu Hin's help, Zhao Yun didn't need her. When Mu Hin walked in front of Zhao Ping deliberately stretched out her foot. Mu Hin didn't notice and tripped. He couldn't help but fall forward. Chapter 8:38. Mu Hin let out a pitiful cry and fell to the ground. A large piece of the skin on her hand was scraped off. She knelt heavily on the ground and could not get up. After Mu Hin fell, she realized that someone had tripped her. She looked at Zhao Ping with some resentment. She and Zhao Ping had no grudge against each other. Why did Zhao Ping trip her out of the blue? She looked up and met Zhao Ping's eyes. Zhao Ping had her hands on her hips and looked very arrogant. Why did you trip me out of the blue? Mu Hin suppressed the anger in her heart and asked Zhao Ping. Her legs hurt so much from the fall that she could not get up for a while. She was still in a kneeling position on the ground. Zhao Ping smirked proudly and said to Mu Hin, So what if I tripped you? What can you do to me? Mu Hin bit her lower lip and asked, How did I offend you? Zhao Ping laughed and said, You didn't offend me in any way. I just don't like the look of you. Besides the fact that Mu Hin's appearance prevented her from helping Zhao Yun earn money at her stall, Mu Hin's pitiful appearance and harmless little face made Zhao Ping a little jealous. Why was it that every random person was prettier than her? Zhao Ping now had a feeling of disgust towards good-looking people. She wished that all women were uglier than her. Unfortunately, Zhao Ping had not found many who were uglier than her. Thinking of this, Zhao Ping felt very stifled. Mu Hin glared angrily at Zhao Ping and said, You're too much. I'm going overboard. What can you do to me? Who asked you to be in cahoots with that little bitch Zhao Yun? You. Mu Hin had never seen someone as shameless as Zhao Ping. What kind of person was this? Wasn't this too unreasonable? She didn't defend her, so what right did she have to vent her anger on her for no reason? Now that they were in someone else's village, and Zhao Ping was Zhao Yun's older sister, how could she blame Zhao Ping? Could it be that she had deliberately quarreled with Zhao Ping? She couldn't do such a thing. Seeing that Mu Hin could only swallow her grievances, Zhao Ping could not help but boast, Humph, you'd better not let me see you in the future. Every time I see you, I'll bully you. Mu Hin bit her lower lip. This woman was too much. You're too much of a bully. Mu Hin jumped out of her mouth. Her voice was a little weak and did not have much momentum. Compared to Zhao Ping's arrogant and domineering attitude, it did not have any deterrence at all. Bully? Humph, I'll bully you, I'll bully you. Zhao Ping deliberately poked Mu Hin's forehead with her finger as she spoke. You, eldest sister? Zhao Tianan could not stand it anymore. Seeing that Mu Hin was really pitiful on the ground, he could not help but step forward and look at Zhao Ping. What's wrong? Zhao Ping casually replied. Second sister, forget it. I think she's quite pitiful. She didn't do anything. Why are you bullying her? Seeing that Zhao Tianan was muttering this, Zhao Ping pursed her lips and said, I'm bullying her. Tianan, why are you defending her? You don't have to feel sorry for other women. You just have to feel sorry for Xiaofeng. Zhao Tianan sighed. He was not feeling sorry for her, but he felt that Mu Hin was really quite pitiful. Chapter 839. Big sis? Don't be so unreasonable, okay? I didn't offend you. Zhao Tianan couldn't help but say. Zhao Ping smirked and said to Zhao Tianan, Tianan, how dare you say I'm unreasonable? You're too heartless. Don't you know who usually helps you in Xiaofeng? As Zhao Ping spoke, she waited for Zhao Tianan. Zhao Tianan felt extremely wronged. Didn't he just tell the truth? How could he be associated with being heartless? He couldn't be considered heartless, right? Big sis? I know you've helped me a lot, but bullying others is a different thing. Zhao Tianan muttered in a low voice. He glanced at Mu Hin, who had yet to get up from the ground. He thought to himself that a girl like her must be in great pain from the fall. No matter what, it was wrong of his sister to bully others like this. Tianan, don't say any more. If I say you're heartless, then you're heartless. Zhao Ping didn't like it when others talked about what she did, especially when Zhao Tianan jumped out to accuse her of being in the wrong. Zhao Ping angrily pulled Ma Xiaofeng's hand and said to Zhao Tianan, I'm not going to talk to you, heartless person. Xiaofeng, let's go. With that, Zhao Ping pulled Ma Xiaofeng and turned to leave. Zhao Tianan stared blankly. What was his sister doing? Was she angry with him? However, Zhao Tianan felt that he didn't do anything wrong. All he did was say a few words when his sister was being unreasonable and bullying others. So what now? Ma Xiaofeng was pulled away by Zhao Ping. She looked at Zhao Tianan a little anxiously. Zhao Ping, this woman, was crazy. Sigh. Zhao Tianan watched as Zhao Ping dragged Ma Xiaofeng far away. He could only sigh and shake his head. When would this big sister of his be a little more reasonable? Now that Ma Xiaofeng had left with Zhao Ping, he could only go back to work. Fortunately, he still had many opportunities to see Ma Xiaofeng. Otherwise, he would probably be anxious to death. Zhao Tianan glanced at Mu Hin, who was lying on the ground, with sympathy in his eyes. He walked over to Mu Hin and helped Mu Hin up from the ground. Are you all right? What do you think? Does it hurt a lot? Mu Hin did not know his own condition. The skin on his hand was torn when he placed it on the ground. There was even a thin layer of skin on his hand that was stained with blood. As for her legs, the pain in her knees was so intense that she could not stand up for a while. She could only continue to kneel on the ground. After Mu Hin stood up with great difficulty, she could not straighten her legs. Her whole body swayed. She bit her lower lip and endured the pain. She said to Zhao Tianan, I'm fine. Zhao Tianan took a deep look at Mu Hin. She was clearly injured so badly, but she said that she was fine. He guessed that she did not want others to worry about her. Zhao Tianan felt that Zhao Ping was his sister, and that she came over because she brought Ma Xiaofeng to him. Zhao Ping bullied Mu Hin, so he had to take responsibility. He hurriedly supported Mu Hin and said, How can you be fine? Look at your palm, it's broken and bleeding. Your clothes on your knees are also torn. The skin inside must have been torn. Why don't you pull up your pants and see how it is? Zhao Tianan's tone was full of concern. When he got closer to Mu Hin, he smelled the faint fragrance on Mu Hin's body. It smelled very good, and it was somewhat similar to Ma Xiaofeng's. Chapter 840. He didn't expect that all women smelled so good. He thought that only Ma Xiaofeng smelled so good. While supporting Mu Hin, Zhao Tianan felt that the girl's body was soft and comfortable to touch. Mu Hin responded and let Zhao Tianan support her to sit on a big rock. Normally, she would be embarrassed to be so close to a boy. However, today was a special situation, so she didn't think too much about it. After sitting down, Mu Hin first looked at her palm. Such a large piece of skin was scraped off. It would be a long time before her palm touched water. In such a situation, it would be painful if it touched water. As for her knees, her clothes were already torn. Now that her knees were torn, she had to patch them up. Her pants were even uglier. Mu Hin sighed slightly in her heart. Why was she so unlucky? Why did Zhao Ping pick on her? What should she do if she continued to treat her like this in the future? Let's see how your leg is, Zhao Tianan said. He was worried about Mu Hin's condition. The more serious Mu Hin's injury was, the more overboard his sister was. As a younger brother, he should be more responsible. Mu Hin responded bitterly. In fact, a woman's leg couldn't be easily seen by a man. Men and women were different. Not to mention the leg, even the foot or the arm couldn't be exposed. Otherwise, it would be immoral. Mu Hin rolled up his pants from his ankle to expose his knee. A large piece of his knee was scraped off and stained with blood. Some of the flesh inside was flipped out, and some stones were stuck on it. Zhao Tianan didn't expect Mu Hin to be injured so badly. No wonder he couldn't get up and walk steadily. It must be painful to be injured like this. Well, Zhao Tianan sighed, then apologized to Mu Hin. I'm sorry. I apologize to you on behalf of my sister. She crossed the line. Mu Hin looked at the boy's apologetic eyes and shook his head. It's none of your business. It was Zhao Ping who did it. She couldn't vent her anger on Zhao Tianan. Even if Zhao Tianan apologized for Zhao Ping, she still wouldn't forgive Zhao Ping. No one would be so magnanimous to forgive others so easily after being bullied for nothing. You rest first. I'll go and find some herbs for you. Apply the herbal concoction and you should feel much better. Zhao Tianan remembered that he had seen the herbal medicine Zhao Yuner had made at the foot of the mountain. It should be easier to find it. You don't have to go through so much trouble. Mu Hin seemed a little embarrassed. It's no trouble at all. I'll be back soon. Sit down and wait for me for a while, Zhao Tianan said to Mu Hin. Before Mu Hin could say anything, Zhao Tianan ran away. Looking at Zhao Tianan's back, Mu Hin had a strange feeling in her heart. It was the first time that someone cared about her like this. Although it was because Zhao Ping bullied her first, Zhao Tianan cared about her after all. After a while, Zhao Tianan came back with the herbs. There was a layer of sweat on his forehead, probably because he ran too fast. Chapter 841. Zhao Tianan squeezed out the juice from the herbs, then applied it on Mu Hin's knees. After the medicine was applied, there was a burning pain at first, but later, the pain became much better. The effect of the medicine was quite good. Mu Xen lowered her head and looked at Zhao Tianan. She found that Zhao Tianan was very serious when he applied the medicine. At the same time, he was very careful. He was afraid of hurting Mu Xen. Looking at Zhao Tianan's serious face, Mu Hin was a little absent-minded for a moment. After Zhao Tianan finished applying the medicine, he raised his head and met Mu Hin's eyes. The two looked at each other, and both of them seemed a little embarrassed. Zhao Tianan was shy and didn't want to have contact with girls. Now that Mu Hin was staring at him like this, his ears suddenly turned red. It's done, Zhao Tianan said weakly. Mu Hin came back to his senses, and his cheeks were also dyed with a layer of red. Thank you, Mu Hin said weakly. It's nothing. Zhao Tianan shook his head. Mu Hin pulled down his pants. When he was about to stand up and go back, Zhao Tianan also stood up. I'll walk you back. Mu Hin's condition was really worrying. What if Mu Hin accidentally fell down when he walked back? Will it be too much trouble for you? Mu Hin asked nervously. It's okay. I'm not busy actually, Zhao Tianan replied. Well, thank you anyway. You're welcome. Zhao Tianan shook his head. After all, it was all because of Zhao Ping. If Zhao Ping hadn't pushed him down, Mu Hin wouldn't have been like this. Let's go, Zhao Tianan said and helped Mu Hin. Mu Hin walked unsteadily. After all, he had fallen down so hard. Be careful. Slow down. Don't worry, Zhao Tianan said with concern. Okay, Mu Hin answered bitterly. Zhao Tianan's concerned voice warmed Mu Hin's heart. No boy had ever talked to her like this before. His heart was filled with nervousness and a trace of excitement. On the way, Zhao Tianan asked and found out that Mu Hin was Mu Lan's younger sister. Zhao Tianan knew that Zhao Yun and Mu Lan were close friends, so he was more concerned about Mu Hin. On the way back, Ma Xiaofeng finally got rid of Zhao Ping. When she was about to talk to Zhao Tianan and continue to cultivate their relationship, she saw Zhao Tianan supporting a girl intimately. This girl was the one who had been pushed down by Zhao Ping. Tianan, do. Ma Xiaofeng was a little angry and jealous. She looked at Mu Hin, who was beside Zhao Tianan. Except for her, how could he be so intimate and flirtatious with other girls? Xiaofeng? Zhao Tianan didn't expect that Ma Xiaofeng would suddenly come back. At this time, he and Mu Hin were indeed flirtatious, which made people misunderstand. When he was about to explain, Ma Xiaofeng glared at Zhao Tianan and said to Zhao Tianan, "You've gone too far. I won't talk to you anymore." After that, Ma Xiaofeng ran away. Seeing Ma Xiaofeng run away because of the misunderstanding, Zhao Tianan was very anxious. When he wanted to chase after Ma Xiaofeng to explain, Mu Hin fell to the ground uncontrollably as soon as he let go of Mu Hin. Zhao Tianan hurriedly pulled Mu Hin. If he didn't support Mu Hin, she would fall. He couldn't let Mu Hin go like this. Chapter 842. Zhao Tianan hesitated for a while, but finally decided to help Mu Hin. After all, Mu Hin was injured because of Zhao Ping. Moreover, Ma Xiaofeng should be angry right now. Ma Xiaofeng might not be able to listen to what he said. It was better to wait for Ma Xiaofeng's anger to subside before he explained to her. Mu Hin saw the disappointment in Zhao Tianan's eyes and Ma Xiaofeng's reaction. She knew that the two of them were like a couple who had quarreled. After realizing that Zhao Tianan liked Ma Xiaofeng, Mu Hin felt a little disappointed. She didn't know why she felt like this. "Why don't you not send me home? Do you want to explain?" Mu Hin asked cautiously. Zhao Tianan glanced at Mu Hin and smiled bitterly. "It's okay. I'll send you home first." Mu Hin sighed slightly and replied, "Okay then." Because Zhao Tianan helped her, Ma Xiaofeng misunderstood. Mu Hin felt a little guilty. She didn't want Zhao Tianan to be upset because of her mood. Zhao Tianan insisted on not explaining to Ma Xiaofeng. As an outsider, she didn't want to say anything. "Let's go," Zhao Tianan said. When he sent Mu Hin home, he was deep in thought. No one knew what he was thinking. Seeing Zhao Tianan like this, Mu Hin felt very uncomfortable and didn't know what to say to comfort him. When they arrived at Family Zhu's courtyard, Mu Hin said to Zhao Tianan gratefully, "Thank you for sending me home." The young girl's voice was pleasing to the ear, like a clear spring flowing through one's heart, making one feel very comfortable. Zhao Tianan raised his head and looked at Mu Hin's delicate face. "You're welcome." She then turned around nervously and said, I'm leaving now." Mu Hin responded with a smile. Seeing Zhao Tianan's back as he hurriedly fled, a trace of melancholy crossed his heart. She stared blankly for a while, then turned around and prepared to return to Mu Lan's room. After she left, Mu Lan went to Zhao Yun'er's house. At this time, she was not at the family room. As soon as she turned around, she saw a figure suddenly appear in front of her, sticking very close to her from behind. Mu Hin took a step back in fear. The person who stuck close to her and looked at her cheekily was Zhu Sanlu. A look of disgust flashed across Mu Hin's eyes. He felt like vomiting when he saw Zhu Sanlu. Why was this man standing behind her for no reason? It was fine if Mu Hin did not step back, but because her leg was injured, she could not stand steadily and almost fell down again. Mu Hin screamed. Zhu Sanlu hurriedly pulled Mu Hin, and Mu Hin steadied herself. "Hee, Sister Mu Hin, are you okay? Be careful, don't be too anxious. Don't you think so?" As Zhu Sanlu spoke, he deliberately reached out his other hand and touched the back of Mu Hin's hand. He smiled wretchedly and said, "Ah, Sister Mu Hin, your hand is so soft, smooth and tender." Mu Hin frowned deeper and hurriedly tried to withdraw her hand. But Zhu Sanlu's strength was stronger than hers. Mu Hin could not pull her hand out of Zhu Sanlu's hand. "You let go of me." Mu Hin bit her lower lip and said to Zhu Sanlu angrily, There was a look of grievance and disgust between her eyebrows. Chapter 843. You're shameless. Mu Hin's face was red with anger. However, in Zhu Sanlu's eyes, Mu Hin's angry and shy look was exceptionally cute. Sister Mu Hin, how can you say that? How am I shameless? I'm just concerned about you. Do you know that? Zhu Sanlu still said with a lewd smile. I don't need your concern. Let me go. Mu Hin glared at Zhu Sanlu and said angrily. However, she had already tried her best to lower her voice. There was no one else in the yard except Zhu Sanlu. Her older sister had left and was not at home. No one came to help her. Mrs. Zhu and family Zhu's family were all resting in their own rooms. It was precisely because of this that Zhu Sanlu was not afraid of his own actions. Once Mu Hin's voice was too loud, it would definitely attract the attention of the other members of family Zhu. Seeing Mu Hin struggling in front of him and the disgust in Mu Hin's eyes, Zhu Sanlu was not in a good mood. Men had their own self-esteem and hoped that women would succumb to them. In addition, Zhu Sanlu's lower part could not be used anymore. Zhu Sanlu's heart was already a little twisted and perverted. He stared coldly at Mu Hin, then a cold smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. He said to Mu Hin, "All right, stop pretending in front of me. Don't pretend to be pure. Since you're so chaste, why did you get so close to another man just now? I saw it all." The other man Zhu Sanlu was talking about was Zhao Tianen. Mu Hin's face darkened. She said to Zhu Sanlu angrily, "That's because I was injured, so he sent me back. Don't make it sound too dirty." How could Zhu Sanlu listen to Mu Hin's explanation? He laughed mockingly again. Since you're injured, let me help you. Don't refuse." Saying that, Zhu Sanlu shamelessly moved closer to Mu Hin and directly held Mu Hin in his arms. Go away, you pervert." Mu Hin screamed. She had never been hugged by a man in her life. In her eyes, Zhu Sanlu's behavior was no different from a hooligan. Zhu Sanlu did not let her go. Instead, he said sarcastically, "What? Others can do this, but I can't? In the end, you're different people. Little sister Mu Xin, I'm not worse than that brat Zhao Tianen. He can't even read a word. I'm still a scholar." How could Mu Xin care whether Zhu Sanlu's conditions were good or bad? Even if he was the emperor, she would not like such a wretched and perverted person. "I don't like you. Stay away from me. Don't hug me or I'll call for help." Mu Hin warned. "Call for help? Aren't you afraid of being seen? Your sister and brother-in-law are not here. Who can help you?" Mu Hin bit her lower lip. She knew that Zhu Sanlu was telling the truth. They were all family Zhu's people. If she called for the family Zhu's people, the family Zhu would only help Zhu Sanlu and not her. If they disturbed the neighbors and they came out to see such a scene, there might be some misunderstanding. If rumors about her spread, it would be even worse. After Mu Hin stopped making noise, Zhu Sanlu smirked proudly. He was moved to tears by his own wit. You're tuning in to the Wang Lin's Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.